Well, hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Play the Janthir Wilds. Today's part 10, and there's only 10 story chapters. That seems to be the new format for Mini X-Pack, so it could be that we're going to finish it here. I know we're technically on step 9, but I think, I don't know actually, I don't really know how long this is going to be, but we're near the end. I think either today or the next one will be the end of the main story at least. That doesn't necessarily mean the very end of the series. I don't know what I'm doing with that just yet. There's actually another Guild Wars series I kind of want to kick up soon, so I'll probably do like a channel update or something. But yeah, so let's crack on, try to get a bit of pace about us here. I've got quite a lot I want to talk about. I've got an intro and an outro for today. And of course a little bit of Q&A and all that stuff. So I've written myself my list. I don't have it up of the things I want to do. First, let's get our Titanplate armour. So I'm ready. I've prepped all that off screen. Let's head over to this. I have no idea what this will look like. The icons kind of look like sort of generic launch guild armour icons, which weren't particularly captivating, but obviously I know that has nothing to do with how it will actually end up looking. So let's see. So, and it's quite expensive, I have to say. This is quite a lot of gold because these sweet treated pine planks, you're gonna need like 15 overall. I bought too many, but it was like 30 gold or something for these. The research notes, I had to go get a bunch more of these. The research note system I think is quite good. And I'm glad to see ArenaNet is still leveraging it. Basically, anything players craft in the game can be turned into research notes, but with a special method of salvaging. This came in with End of Dragons. And we've seen it slowly paying dividends. Obviously, you've got the new checkbox down here as well, where you can craft something and instantly research. But it still costs a research kit. Anyway, yeah, so I was on, like, fast farming, and I was looking at, like, calculators and stuff. I just ended up, usually when I'm going in for research notes, I go for, like, potions. So I went for like some potent potion-y, potent poisoning potion? No, that's a Final Fantasy thing. I was going for like potent destroyer potions and stuff. Probably wasted quite a lot of gold. Could have done a better way with it. That was quick. And so it's 150 per piece. So there's 6 pieces. So you're looking at 900 in total for the armor. I've gone up to 1,300. It will help with other things later. And then of course oiled stuff, which is just basically normal crafting, but with the addition of linseed, and linseed in theory is a good expansion currency or continues to have value. So anyway, so here we got the Titanplate light shoes, and again I've been told when I unlock these, I will get them for all armor classes. I'm now realizing they're on the TP. Wow. Wait, open in crafting menu? That's just there by default, right? There's nothing we can... Actually, I'm not going to do that because it will take away what we're currently on. Right, I'm just going to say unlock skin. Salvaging would probably be better, or whatever. This is Liz's inventory, and we don't have to fix this. So there you go. So Titanplate armor collector, and we begin. So that's one. Here's the regalia. See, look, it looks like guild stuff, right? Then we have the gloves. Then we have the light crown. It's funny, I was playing Guild Wars 1 last night. Ow, shit, I fucked this up. Oh no, that's just the alloy. I haven't fucked up. And you know when you get like an armor drop, a salvageable armor piece, you know, like where you get the kind of loot that drops that give you a rune or an insignia, basically. There's like Titan armor that drops from the Titans in Guild Wars 1. And I was looking at that literally last night, playing the End of Prophecies, and thinking, oh my god, that's really weird that you can craft that now in Guild Wars 2. I'm not sure ArenaNet would have been considering or thinking of that on any level, but it is pretty interesting. So we go, so we can grab this. Again, a direct salvage would be better, because I don't think you can tier these into Ascended. And even if you could, why would I want to, since I have legendary stuff? There is no RPG to progress. So there you go. So that's Titanplate. I guess let's preview it on this first, on light, and then we'll... See, this is an Asura, and it's light, so whatever this is going to end up looking like... Whoa, that's a weird helmet. Is probably not going to be very representative. Do you know what? This reminds me a lot of the Sorrow's Embrace launch stuff. It looks really weird. Bulky, square-like. It's interesting, I guess. I mean, this is the problem with a late-stage MMO. We were talking in Discord just now about the idea of, like, late-stage MMOs. And it's like... that you hit a certain threshold where people have all the armor that they like and the weapons that they like and the mounts that they have. Like, what possibly could this Titan armor look like that would blow my mind, you know? And would I be happy for it to blow my mind when realistically what I want to be wearing is legendary and stuff? I don't know, that looks really weird. I'm not going to be wearing that. But let's go over to medium and have a look here. I really wanted... I want it to look like a destroyer or something, I guess. But where's the line in the sand between that and combat tonics? Really want that combat tonic QOL update. That would be so nice. Okay, so Titanplate. Like here as well, even on smaller scale, I started this expansion with this stuff from Wizard's Vault. And I think it looks quite cool. Oh god, guys. Oh god. Oh, I don't know. I'm not a fan, I have to say. I don't know what better they could have done. I'm not saying they've... I'm not a fan. What I will do is I will wear... We're not going to go for the full set. We'll treat it carefully. We'll wear the legs... Sorry, the feet, the legs, and the chest. As for the rest, I'll keep it the Rotstalker stuff, which is also Janthir Wilds. So there we go. And it looks like heavy armor. I don't know. There's so many skins, you know. Again, this is why I really think an MMO designed from day one to work for decades. You really want people swapping armor a lot. I think like based on region, FF14 has like based on their class. There's a lot you can do, but that would create space for like weird armors and stuff. You could do day and night, combat and non-combat zones. How Guild Wars 2 at launch had that with the town clothes, and then they U-turned on. Anyway, cool. So we're in Titanplate. Right, so that's one thing. Now, a part of Titanplate is it's a collection, just a straight-up collection in the collection section, basic collections. And I thought I'd point out my account progress on this. So, for Secrets of the Obscure, the last X-Pack, look at all the minis I didn't get. I went to the Hall in the Lagoon and I got with these minis. I had no appreciation for how many minis they have. Now, here in Janthir Wilds, I've been grabbing a lot of minis. Oh god, do you know what? I really should check that chat is working and everything's all okay here. Here we go. Stream health. There we go. My god, so many minis. I'll probably go back and grab these. I quite like that this is, and it's a cool title, Secret of the Minuscule. Again, same issue. I've already got other titles I'd like to rep. In fact, this character's not repping anything. I would want something Sylvari-esque. Let's go Omnivore here. So, yeah, pretty cool. But then for Janthir Wilds, which is, of course, this LP, the Titanplate was one of them. We've now dinged it. It was right here. I don't know if I type in the search bar here. Titanplate. There you go. But then, of course, you'll also notice polychromatic armor. This is also Janthir Wilds. It gives us this axe, the prismatic spear. Axe? This spear. I guess it's more of a halberd, this. This prismatic spear. It's totally a halberd, right? That's what they are. Looks quite cool. And I'm down for spear skins because we got less of a pull. But yeah, this is only heavy, which is really interesting. Polychromatic heavy armor. Unavailable in other armor weights, it says on the tooltip there, which I think is quite rare. Anyway, we purchased the polychromatic armor from Deft Lahar in our homestead. There's also, I've noticed, in Janthir Wilds, just regular, the like top miscellaneous category for Janthir Wild stuff. Look at this. This is an achievement for just decorating for 5 minutes in the ground. And this is just decorating while being a bee, while flying. That's it. Aside from that, it's just stuff we've mostly already done, which is kind of amazing. The treasure hunter we haven't really done. We've not been digging up caches. But yeah, okay, so anyway, back to these collections. You have the polychromatic, only in heavy, something about the homestead, and then Woad. Unlock the Woad armor set. Shrouded by the strength of the wilds. I don't know where we get this from, or when we get this, or what. But there you go, we have the Titanplate bit done. And I don't know whether this will all appear in this LP or what, for what it's worth. Speaking of achievements and things, we are going to start off here looking at... Okay, not the Woad armor. I just did that for the sake of showing it to you guys. We're going to do all 3 of these today. We're going to do Life in the Lowlands, which is just a couple of books. We're going to do Titan Researcher, because I've been advised by you guys in chat that this is quick, this is simple, and it's just a bit of extra story about the Titans, a bit of information, hopefully useful information for Guild Wars 1 player, non-Guild Wars 1 players, sorry. Or people who haven't thought about it very much, or, you know, they've lapsed the information like I'm lapsing on huge amounts of information as time goes forward. So this will be nice. And apparently it's nice and quick, and it fits in well here. So we're going to do Titan Researcher. And I am kind of keen on getting Tales of the Lowland Wisps done as well, which we started on the last one. Just finding these wisps around, and there's bits of dialogue. We might shunt that off to another episode, though. But Titan Researcher definitely, and the books here, we're going to do that. Lots of juicy lore, fun stuff to do. What else is there to talk about? Reshade continues to be an experiment. I'm actually quite happy with the shimmer and stuff right now. In fact, I see almost very, very, very little. It's such a tricky interplay of your frame rate and your resolution and the contrast, the style of sharpening, you know, but not just sharpening contrast, but lots of different elements, including like if you set your curves to a specific level, it will introduce so much more shimmer. But this grass is very, very nice at the moment, quite luscious. And yeah, what's quite exciting actually is the Reshade Effect Toggler add-on, which allows you to inject reshade effects at different levels, right? So you can inject the reshade effect underneath the UI, so the UI doesn't get impacted. There's also like these in-world elements of the HUD, like the text that says Wayfinder 2 here, or that guy that says Landspeaker. Now, last time I was talking about reshade a couple of episodes ago, it wasn't injecting on the right level. But here, there's this new setup here for interactables, yellow item name text. It's kind of working. It might be buggy, so yeah. But it's quite interesting. There's a lot of fun things going on. When I have more to say. Also, I do have the sharpening I'm applying at the moment. I really like, but it is very strong. I have some videos from like 7, 8 years ago when I'd first discovered sharpening, around the time of my very first Sweet Effects tutorial, that I think look awful now. I don't really cringe at very much, to be honest, but it's like, oh god, they look bad. Anyway, Liz's face here around her mouth, if I hide her hat, she looks like wrinkly almost. I don't know. I don't know how much is coming across on YouTube, but I quite like it. There's also the thing is, as a content creator, there's always a slight loss of detail and sharpness just through putting things online. So being slightly excessive with my own sharpening kind of counteracts that a little bit. So I don't know. Anyway, look, these are huge topics. I had some good responses about the PvP stuff as well, but you know, let's keep it stuck to Janthir Wilds for now. So I want to open up with a bit of lore. Remember we read the Saul D'Alessio lore from the Guild Wars 1 Prophecies manuscript? So, like I mentioned last night, so I've been playing Prophecies with Kerry for a while now, and we kind of got burned out and stopped when we got to the Crystal Desert. Now, I'm going to be going through Janthir Wilds with her, and I basically said to her, look, she's never played Guild Wars 1. I said to her, look, we should do the end of Prophecies. We're kind of near the end of Prophecies, and it will be so much better to, you know, Janthir Wilds, you know, for me, I would say, I mean, I might do a full review later, but the thing I'm really enjoying is the piece where I understand the lore and there's a bit of connectedness. So I think it's a real benefit to have played Prophecies. So I said, look, let's finish it up. So we did last night. It was really interesting. So I got a couple of screenshots from Guild Wars 1, because I was right at that moment. Like, when you meet Glint, right after you've ascended, you know, she gives you the what's what on the Massart, and then the details about the Seer immediately after in the Southern Shiver Peaks, and then all the stuff about the Door of Kamali and Kilbron and the Titans is all pretty much contained right there at the end, in the Fire Island Chain. We're talking about that span of the Dragon's Lair up to Hell's Precipice. It's like 6 missions, and 7 missions if you include the Dragon's Lair itself. And that's like all of it. That's like all the detail and all the story. And it's quite interesting, and there were a few different things that I'm going to give you guys screenshots of, because they're related to Janthir Wild's discussion. But also, when I was at the Dragon's Lair last night, I was like, oh, let's go to the Tomb of the Primeval Kings. So the Tomb of the Primeval Kings is where Chiraios's ghost leaves the story, because traditionally it would have been the PvP stuff up to the Hall of the Heroes. But so, of course, the Tomb of the Primeval Kings has this portal to the Mists. It's still there in Guild Wars 2. I've got to be visual here, right? So for Guild Wars 2 players, you come to the top right of the Crystal Desert. I talked about this before. This character hasn't been it. Like here, there's the tomb up here. Remember, you go here, you go in, you go to the library. There's a portal to the Mists here. Who made that portal to the Mists? A character called Lord Odrin. And I mentioned Lord Odrin in brief in one of these Janthir Wilds playthrough episodes. He's had basically 0 story or expansion the entire time. He wasn't expanded on in Factions, he wasn't expanded on in Nightfall, he wasn't expanded on in Eye of the North, he wasn't expanded on in any of the Guild Wars 1 Beyond stuff, he wasn't expanded on in Core, he wasn't expanded on in Season 1, he was expanded on in Season 2 in a roundabout way, because they gave us the map of the Mist, and they said this is Odrin's map of the Mist. Cool! So they expanded on him slightly, but also that was in the context of the Special Archives Priory update, which expanded on like everything in a tiny way. And also in the years since, I was told most of that lore was written by an intern who then left. So it's one of those things where it's like they didn't really have any plans for Lord Oddrun, right? He's just this character in the lore that created these portals to the Mists. So then was he expanded on in Heart of Thorns? No. In Season 3? No. In Path of Fire? When we go back to one of his portals, we literally go here. Does the commander talk about it? Or nope. It's not even in POF. Not in Season 4. Not in the Icebrood Saga. Not in Ender Dragons. Now, Secrets of the Obscure. We're in a new arc now. What is the arc? The arc basically can be summed up as extra-dimensional entities interacting with the Mists. Things from the Mists coming here to threaten us, and Isgarin and his crew defending the world from that. That's how we can sum it up. I think that's fair, right? So, suddenly Lord Oddrun is a really interesting character. Even though he's basically had no expansion, the story of a man from Tyria wandering around the Mists and creating portals to the Mists, that story fits into this story perfectly. So perfectly, I have to assume ArenaNet will do something about it. I have to assume. So, let's go back to Prophecies and read the only information we really ever had about Lord Oddrun. Again, it's from the manual. So just as I gave you the Sol D'Alessio short story from the manual, you'd read it while installing the game, I'm going to give you the Lord Oddrun information from the manual now. Again, pulled from Wiki. Or archive.web, but Wiki hosted it. So, this is not only... What I'm about to read you is 2 pages. It's not much. It's very short. But it's pretty much all the initial information about the Mists. And which is information which is interesting in the context of Janthir Wilds. But also it's all the information we have about Lord Oddrun. Like, what we know about this guy only really comes from the manual, not even in-game. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about Lord Oddrun. Now, I'm just going to say, this blew my mind, and I really loved reading it in the modern era, because the word wizard doesn't really get used much in Guild Wars. It's getting used constantly with the, the recent stories and the Astral Court and the, the wizards. And the word wizard comes up in this a lot, and I don't know, it's just interesting to me. Here we go. The Hall of Heroes. In the center of the rift. So remember, the Mists have the rift in the middle, and the rift is this weird place where you can get anywhere and everywhere, not just in space, but in time too. Okay. So the rift is in the middle of the Mists, and then, in the center of the rift, deep inside the Mists, stands the imposing walled fortress known across the multiverse as the Hall of Heroes. This structure, and this is another one of these golden, divine sort of places. And this place, by the way, very nearly got into Path of Fire. The developers of Path of Fire basically explained that Cormyr library scene, they were going to put in the Hall of the Heroes as well. And one of the best decisions they've ever made, it's just like the decision to cut Malik, basically. They realized that they couldn't fit it into Path of Fire. It was too big of an idea. It was cool stuff, but it was too massive. So they removed it from the scope. They removed it and told the story without doing anything on the Hall of Heroes. And that's 10 out of 10 decision, because Path of Fire was brilliant anyway. And what it means now is us here in the mid-2020s, we can look at this detail and we can say, oh, fucking cool. I'm excited to see the Hall of Heroes still. They didn't close this door when they didn't have to. When I look at my most grumpy memories of the Guild Wars 2 storytelling, is closing doors when they didn't have to. And here with POF, they didn't. So the Hall of Heroes is still utterly fascinating to me, and I love that we haven't been there yet. So anyway, in the center of the rift, deep inside the mist, stands the imposing walled fortress known across the multiverse as the Hall of Heroes. Multiverse is kind of a fun word as well, isn't it? In the modern era of the MCU, everyone loves saying this, but and it doesn't really appear in any consistent codified way within Guild Wars storytelling, modern Guild Wars storytelling. But there it is in the manual, the multiverse. The structure is the pinnacle of the afterlife. When a hero dies, his spirit goes to one of 2 places. Either it's buried with the deceased body, forever trapped inside the rotting flesh and rancid bones of the corpse, or it is released into the rift. So this is weird lore, because this is not really... We know that there's multiple afterlives. It's not just stick around or rift, What about going to the underworld? What about going here? So some of this feels a bit flimsy, but let's just brush past that. This latter honor goes only to those few whose deeds in life were legendary enough to be known across multiple worlds, and fewer still earn a place among the souls ensconced inside the hall itself. For a long while, the Rift and the Hall of Heroes were accessible only by those who had passed from the mortal world into the immaterial. It was the land of the dead, an exclusive club for whose membership cost the blood of one's own life. But within the last century, all that changed. So, they've got this crazy idea here of if you are known, if your deeds are known across multiple worlds, you are a hero across multiple worlds. That's how you get into the Hall of Heroes. Now, for me, reading this now, after years and years of Guild Wars 2 storytelling and all the Elder Dragon stuff, you know, I wasn't very interested in the specific wording of some of this stuff during the Elder Dragon arc because it didn't feel, like, particularly relevant. But think about this now in the context of this story. It's funny that way back at the initiation of this franchise, they introduced this idea of a hero known across multiple worlds. And yet they haven't played with it at all. So, there's another MMO that plays with this in an interesting way, and I think the story went fantastically there. I have to assume that ArenaNet's been thinking about this, maybe with their development of Guild Wars 3, air quotes, maybe some of their previous projects, and they would still like to play with this, you know. It's like with the whole cancelled Utopia expansion, where a bunch of heroes from all different periods of time, like Mordecai and stuff, were all going to be there. I think it's really interesting that they've established this idea that if you're known across multiple worlds, you get into this place. And yet, we have no characters yet that have really established themselves on that power level. Even the Guild Wars 2 commander hasn't really. We've had a couple of very brief sorties and adventures into little areas of the mists and fragments of the mists. But full-blown worlds, like if ArenaNet really figure out how to talk about like greater planes of reality and lesser planes of reality, so Tyria is special and it's a big one. But like if you make a little fractal, if you're Isgaran or Dessa or whatever, making a small fractal, that's like a tier. You know, we to put it in Star Trek terms, you know, you got your Class M planets, and then you have like your planetoids, right? If they figure out some of the magic of this and like codify it a bit, I think they can play around in some really fun ways. And the idea that the commander, they're a hero on Tyria, but what about across multiple worlds? So, and then it makes me just think about Isgaran, you know, like, would he qualify? Not really, right? What about the Masat? What about the human gods? I mean, clearly they would qualify, right? I mean, it's a matter of perspective. Who is the judge of all of this as well, right? Who gatekeeps the Hall of Heroes? We're talking about really fascinating, cool entities and potential stories that are very rich, that can go from Guild Wars 2 to Guild Wars 3 and beyond. That, you know, my grumpiness about Suwon and all that, like, being too big. Well, look, think about this. Who gatekeeps, who guards the Hall of Heroes? What is this stuff? And it feels like Secrets of the Obscure and Janthir Wilds really are building to these topics. So I think it's very, very cool to look at the Lord Audrin stuff. So, speaking of Lord Audrin, let's finally get to the man. Using a spell of his own devising, and I really want to impress upon you guys, who maybe didn't play Guild Wars 1 or read this thing, I'm giving you all the information right now. You are qualified to talk about this shit. There's not like other little holes. I'm giving it to you now, okay? This is it. It was that paragraph about the Hall of Heroes and immediately after in the manual, this one, right? There's not like... I mean, there are gaps, I guess, to an extent, but... Anyway, so here we go. Using a spell of his own devising and the sacrifice of many souls, Lord Audrin, a powerful arcanist who specialized in the study of temporal distortions... That's already interesting, like time magic-y stuff. Opened a portal that offered him access to the mists and eventually into the rift himself. It's like a badass Chrono, maybe, somehow. But through his study, he found a way to make his own openings into the mists. That might seem kind of plain and uninteresting as far as Guild Wars 2 is concerned, with the portals that take us into world versus world and the fractals and stuff. But I like to think it's still a special thing. The spirits who had given their lives to earn access to the hallowed afterlife were outraged. They turned their fury upon the intruder, attacking Lord Audrin with all of their legendary and collective might. But it had been hundreds of years since most of the spirits had interacted with the physical world, and none of them had ever done so in their shadow form. As powerful as they had been in life, they could not harm the physical manifestation of the Wizard Lord. Lord Audrin, the Wizard Lord. Not yet. He was untouchable here in the land of the dead, and he travelled freely through the Hall of Heroes. So he wasn't just exploring the mists, right? He's exploring the Hall of Heroes itself. Over the years, Lord Audrin learned to use the rift to travel across the multiverse. He opened portals on nearly all of the different worlds, turning the rift into his own personal gateway. But though he was clever, the Wizard Lord was himself only mortal, and eventually the spirits of the Hall discovered a way to interact with the corporeal world. Oddrun's last physical journey through the rift cost him his mortal life. So there's that definitive the corporeal world. Tyria, the corporeal world. Are we going to lean into that or away from that? Because there is a bit of fuzziness because this is quite old. You know, I think about this thing of Lord Oddrun's escapades. How does that map to Kralkatoric's escapades, you know, or whatever? Anyway, the Wizard Lord was torn to shreds by hundreds of angry souls seeking retribution for his trespasses. When Oddrun's mortal body died, the wards and enchantments that kept his portals hidden failed, and the gates to the Hall of Heroes were laid open to all who were able to find them. The Wizard Lord had been canny, though. Oddrun knew that one day he too might be ensconced in the Hall, so he hid the portals in the most treacherous locations he could. So, by the way, look, Oddrun knew he too might end up in the Hall when he was dead, i.e., he travelled around all these worlds and made a name for himself. Yeah, he was ultimately killed, but he made a name for himself. This really feels a lot like the Soul stuff in the manual, where they, like, hand-wave his death to an extent, and it's something they could really expand on, you know. What made him a hero in some people's eyes on these worlds across the multiverse really pissed off others. There's more to it than them just being angry for his trespasses. Well, what does that really mean? You know? It just occurred to me that the meta might be happening. Do you guys know when the meta happens? In map 2, because of that dialogue that just came up. Anyway, so, he knew he could end up in the Hall of Heroes himself. So, by the way, I'm not suggesting Isgarin is Oddrun. First of all, I don't like consolidating characters like that. Second of all, Isgarin is kind of the reverse Oddrun, in a way. You know, they're the yin and the yang, if you really think about it. Oddrun is exploring and making a name for himself and opening portals. Isgarin is guarded and closing them down. These two are kind of like nemesises, which is kind of amazing. So, and again, if you look at the timeline of this, I really feel like Isgarin would have known Oddrun and would have talked to him or about him or something. Also, Isgarin has like this really anti-god thing going on. He really doesn't like the... So when we play the Lonely Tower, which I'm going to do, there's a Secrets of the Obscure Fractal that just came out, but it's got Isgarin. It explains the fate of Vast and stuff. He talks about how annoyed he is that Tyrian people have been manipulated by Mistwalkers, basically. And he's like, no, Eparch, you can't do the same. So I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't like any of this. So anyway, he hid the port. So Oddrun thought he'd end up in the Hall of Heroes. The Wizard Lord Oddrun thought he'd end up in the Hall of Heroes. So he hid the portals in really treacherous places. The fear of death, he surmised, would keep the meek at bay. So when he dies and his protections fail, at least the portals are in dangerous spots. But a long time has passed. And this is like 800 years before Guild Wars 1, I think. And it is clear now that the Wizard Lord, like the gods before him, underestimated the greed of men. Over time, the whereabouts of his portals have been revealed, such as the one in the Tomb of the Primeval Kings. Though they remain difficult to get to, it's at the bottom of a tomb, there are those with enough skill and enough bravery to reach them, and every day, the number of intruders to the hall rises. And it's interesting to think that that's intruders from Tyria, but that's intruders from other worlds as well. An unending battle for supremacy rages inside the hall. The spirit inhabitants have taken to playing groups of mortals against each other for sport, placing bets on which will make it furthest and giving special aid to those they favour. Control of the hall itself has its rewards, as well as its costs as well. So all of this is exegetically just because Guild Wars 1 had a PvP format where you go through the tomb doing PvP, and then once you get through the tomb, you go into the mist doing PvP. And then the best teams fight in the Hall of Heroes, a golden place, right? It's kind of like their version of automated tournaments. So this is lore that they wrote just to justify that feature, whatever. That doesn't really affect their ability to weave a cool story out of it now, a decade later. It's irrelevant. And it's very exciting. And when I read this, it feels to me that not only will Lord Oddrun get some looks in, if not in Janthir Wilds, the third part, the fourth part, whatever, it kind of feels like if we're going to build to a big crisis again, it feels like it's all going to be happening in the Hall of Heroes. I don't know. So anyway, so with that all done, and hopefully you guys found that fun, let's now move over into the questions and answers section. And some of you guys have comments which are somewhat related to that. There aren't many comments today. there were a lot of comments, but I've culled a lot of comments, let me put it that way. Just so that we can keep the pace up. And there's a variety of things. First of all, this wasn't even on the... I say I've culled comments, I thought this was really funny. This isn't even on this series. Someone's like watching one of my Guild Wars 2 playthroughs, I can't remember. Anyway, this guy says, why does Traherne sound like he was voiced by AI so many years before his rise? You gotta remember, a lot of Traherne hate came just purely because people didn't like the sound of his voice. Okay, so just a couple of things from my Guild Wars 1 playthrough yesterday. Check it out. This is a Glint's eggs. One of them is Aurene. We did the bonus. It's amazing how many there are, and it's amazing to think of lots of others around. And of course, Janthir Wilds kind of hinted at that. But what I thought was interesting, I'd never noticed this, is they look like little xenomorphs. They actually have a graphic showing the baby. That's Aurene, guys, in Guild Wars 1. You can see the dragon in the egg. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, next. So we were talking about... Do the Masat actually show themselves to the White Mantle? They are the unseen ones, after all. Surely they don't show themselves. Really. Like, the prophecy story was kind of like, they're fraudsters. They're pretending to be gods, but really they're just people that live here. They can just hide themselves. And you know, it leads us into the same discussion. What does a god, what justifies a god? It's all a matter of perspective. But anyway, there's just this idea. How often did they really show themselves? And I want to be clear here, Prophecies makes it quite apparent that they were showing themselves to White Mantle. Ivinia here says, our scouts spotted Marcus heading north. This is in the southern Shiver Peaks. And she says that he was accompanied by a group of White Mantle and their unseen gods. We're going after him. This is Ivinia, a member of the Shining Blade, reporting that she has scouted White Mantle and Masat together. Ivinia, the Masat will not have chosen themselves to reveal to Ivinia. Ivinia's not even ascended. So I think she just caught them with their pants down. The White Mantle that were in the area could probably see them. I think it's pretty clear that they weren't always invisible. It was fairly standard course. It's very, you know, you have to go to a specific NPC in Guild Wars 1 really to get that perspective, but yeah. And then next we have Ivinia again here. Talking about the Seer. And she says, we're going to get help for the fight against the Masat. There's a legend of an ancient sorcerer who lives in these parts. Word is, she has powerful magics that can help in the fight against the Masat. This may be our best chance to catch Marcus. If we let him slip away from our grasp, he will not be able to... he will not stop until every last member of the Shining Blade has fallen at the feet of the White Mantle. So there's an interesting thing in Prophecies, by the way, where the mission where you get infused, seeing the Ice Caves of Sorrow, feels like it was supposed to come first, because the storytelling is really weird. Like, you get a primary quest talking all about the Seer, but then you just do the Iron Mines of Molygene mission, which has nothing to do with the Seer. And in really early press, like an early world map, the missions were swapped on the world map. So I guess at some point ArenaNet had the two swapped, and then they swapped them, and then the primary quest didn't change or whatever. Anyway, what I just want to point out here is, when we're thinking about the Guild Wars 1 Seer, who was it? Was it Sidoni? Well, I don't know. Do we know Sidoni's gender? Live chat comments? Do we know if Sidonia was a man or a woman? Because, let's be clear, and it's very plain, the Seer you meet in Guild Wars 1 was a female. They're unnamed, but it's a woman. She speaks like a woman. She's referred to as a woman here by Ivinia. So it's obviously not Isgarin that we met in the first game. Also, I have a friend playing Seekers of the Obscure right now, and he says there's a line in there that 100% emphatically confirms Isgarin just appears to look like a djinn. He really does have the same physiology as the other Seers, but he's picked to look like a djinn. And I think that's a really cool story, by the way. I remember reading that last year, but not really knowing how seriously to take it. I wonder if this is a thing like his love for Vars or something. Wait, Akeem? Akeem was the djinn, right? I don't know, it's interesting. Wait, Akeem? Yeah. So anyway, there you go. So that's what I had from Guild Wars 1 for you guys. Oh no, I have one more thing. We're in the Fire Island chain. And we ask a dwarf, do you believe in the Flameseeker prophecies? Do you think it's really true? So this is the Titan crisis, the original Titan crisis. And this guy says, well, let me tell you, I wouldn't be standing at the base of an active volcano, sweating like a griffin haunch over an open fire, preparing to assault the most heavily guarded fortress in all of Tyria if I didn't believe in the Flameseeker prophecies. Remember, whatever lies inside the door of Kamali, Titans, scares the Masat, but all of this all these walls and all these bunkers built on the Fire Island chain, they weren't built to keep something from getting out of the volcano. They weren't a defense from the Titans. They were built to keep someone from getting in. No matter how frightened they are of the creatures behind the door, the Masar are more frightened of you. They built all this shit to keep you out. That, my friend, makes you about the most dangerous thing in Tyria. That's just a fun line that is interesting. Here in Janthir Wilds, we've been interacting with Masar, and, you know, their fear of the Titans is an element. But at no point do they really allude to any of this. And I get it, in Guild Wars 2, they can't really refer to the Guild Wars 1 player character with much specificity, because they could have been anything and anyone based on what the player did at character creation and all that. But it's weird to think this, isn't it? This dwarf thinks that the Onyx Gate was not made to protect against the Titans. And that's an easy little twist to forget about and slip by as the years go. Anyway, I like that line. And then finally, just one more thing on the Titans from Guild Wars 1. I was doing the bonus in Hell's Precipice. The final bonus, it has you fighting Armageddon Lords. And they're big badass Titans. Here's the lore about the Armageddon Lords. It's the Seer again. Is it the female Seer from the Shiver Peaks or a different one? Who knows? Ancient Seer. Unchecked, the Titans will rend Tyria asunder. So they've been sent through the portals at this point. Stopping the Lich is the only real way to defeat them. But there is more to this problem than you know. Among the Titan Horde are their champions, the Armageddon Lords. If they are not stopped, these demons will surely bring an end to both man and beast. Most likely the Lords will be the last ones through the portals that have been opened. So, this was in Prophecies where there was no dialogue from any Titans, and even when there was, it was a tiny little line. So we never really hear the Armageddon Lords talk or anything, but it's very interesting to me to think that we might find an Armageddon Lord in Janthir Wilds. We might even find it in Story Step 10. Is it fighting an Armageddon Lord? I mean, I assume we just fight Greer or Decima. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. That's Guild Wars 1 stuff. Over to the Q&A section. Just some cool thoughts from you guys. Let's see. Long time since you played Guild Wars. Anything new and good? Yeah, I'm enjoying the new expansion for sure. Yeah, and Avinia being missing and that whole story. Yeah, that's obviously some stuff to think about as well. Not really related to JW as far as I'm concerned. So, all right. Coffee says, "Hey, thanks for the streams." So I was asking in the last part the opinion of people who knew none of the GW1 story. And so here's a response. And I had some response in the live chat as well, I am aware. But this guy says, "Thanks for the streams. I'm kind of new to the game. I only started 3 years ago. I've never played Guild Wars 1. To answer your question, yeah, it was all gobbledygook to me. I don't know who Sidoni is or was. Well, to be clear, Sidoni is Secrets of the Obscure stuff, not Guild Wars 1 stuff. But it is side quest things that everybody's missing, obviously. I didn't know who Sidoni is or was, or who that Masart leader was. I still don't get who the twins are, question mark. Yeah, I don't, either. Are they the same creepy twins that get turned into the mini-titans? Question mark, I don't know. Greer and the other one we fought in the meta event, just my uninformed theory. I still enjoyed playing JW, but even despite all of this, I still enjoyed playing the story. For some of the themes they had in this X-Back about love and loss and the overall vibes. I'm also one of the players who liked the first story instance, where we get like a recap of what's been happening over Tyria and Cantha and Alona. I only recently started getting into the lore, which got me watching some of your older videos, and I'm thoroughly enjoying these streams. Thank you very much. Yeah, you're watching all of them while you fish. And they also say they have a fishing guide on their channel if you guys want to check it out. So yeah, I think it is one of those things where it's like, as long as the instances are pretty and like the surface level superficially is interesting, if there were good RPG mechanics, basically, it's fine to do all these crazy references to early stuff. But without that, it can feel a bit empty, don't get me wrong. I don't think that this is a perfect expansion anyway. They're nailing the subject material. Are they nailing the implementation? More conversations are needed, I think. Anyway, so here's Ezio, who said, "Well, you see, I also don't believe the Masar are from Nyos. It just doesn't make much of a sense. Why would Eparch never talk about them? Surely he would have tried to eat them, and there would have been a battle or something, right? My idea with the delicate scroll thing is that Ceres, and therefore Eparch, had an eye on Mabon for a while now. Same with Isgarin. An Epoch, Mabon, and Isgarin had a bunch of contact when he came to Tyria for the first time, right? Surely both of them use some kind of written language that originates from somewhere. I mean, when the Seers and Massart even worked together for a time, they had to have had notes and whatever. Therefore, my idea is simply that some of the language of that collaboration, or Massart language in general, dripped into Nyos when Epoch came back. And that's it. That's why there's Massart stuff there. Also, don't forget Cryptists dream about Tyrian stuff and were around for a long time. Who says they didn't just dream about some Janthir symbols and make their own version of it? The Eye of Janthir symbol for them could just be something normal we talk about, like with a tree or whatever. We see stuff like this in our linguistics all the time. German trade a lot of the language of American, vice versa, or maybe the same word means different stuff. I just think they're doing that with I just don't think that the Massart, these grandiose beings that have the gall to say they are gods and maybe built a golden city with marble stuff, go anywhere near Nyos. It just looks too ugly for them almost. Look, I have two main reactions to this. One is, look, that's all well and good. You can I get where you're coming from, but why put an anticlimax like that in? You've got to think about it from the perspective of the development. Oh, we're going to put a note in, and it's going to reference Janthir, and it's going to be cryptic and suggest a connection. Oh, but it just means nothing. It's just a linguistic thing. Like, why would you write that? That's so unappetizing. Like, things have intent. It's not a real world where things are actually chaotically happening, and some stories are just duds. Things are written to have entertainment value. There's no entertainment value in what you just said there, beyond getting lore nerds worked up in a tizzy and then letting them down later, which erodes trust in the storytelling. Like, I don't believe, just on that, I don't believe it. Secondly, and look, we have to put this to bed. The Eye of Janthir is in Nyos. At the end of the story, at the end of Secrets of the Obscure, it is there watching you. It's not a suggestion of a Massart connection. There is literally a Massart connection. Assuming the eye was made by the Massart and blah, blah, blah. But so look, that's the thing, okay? It's not a debate. There is a connection. It was a debate during those 9 months of Secrets of the Obscure patches, right? It was a debate I wasn't engaging in, but it was a debate, and then ArenaNet settled it with a cliffhanger. That's the situation. I'll also note as well, by the way, some people have come up with this thing where they've said, oh, maybe Mabon's quote talking about the girl, the girl's voice, and she says that the Massart are in the realm of dreams. That quote, that's also kind of like a big connection. Some people have proposed that it's just a cryptist lying to him. That he's just influenced by a cryptist, and the cryptist is trying to get him to go to Nyos. And that's cool, by the way. I really like that. There's something sinister and amazing about that. There's this beautiful, melodic, like, lovely voice, and it's a demon whispering in your ear. Love that shit. That's what demons are all about to me, to be honest, with the whole pacts and deceit and so on. But, again, the eye was ultimately revealed to literally be there. So, I think there is a connection. And what you say here at the end, let's just reread this line. I don't think the Massart, these grandiose beings that have the gall to say they're gods and built Golden City with marble and stuff, would go anywhere near Nyos. It's just too ugly for them. I mean, that's what's beautiful about the story, if it ends up true, right? That's how far they've fallen. You've got the most amazing divine-looking thing, and then the most... I mean, what is the antonym for divinity? Corruption? I don't know. Primitivism? It's not even that. It's just disgusting. It's hell. It's heaven and hell. And that's what makes it cool, I think. Again, I still like the idea of the Massart having their own realm, and I kind of don't... Again, I don't like condensing stories. So, look, I'm not totally in favour of it, but at the end of the day, the eye was there. I think we have to take it for granted there is a Massart connection. Whatever it is. Oh, I think I've skipped a comment here. Oh, yeah, I've skipped a bunch. Hold on. Wrong row. We'll get to that in a second. Tirak said, I just had a thought. Could the taunt... This is an amazing... Okay, listen, I'm going to go through a bunch of comments. I'm just going to spoil it now. This is the best comment of them all, all right? You may as well just skip the rest of the Q&A because no one else has anything of worth to say. You could skip the whole episode. I don't have anything worth to say. This is the coolest thing that will appear not only in this episode of the Let's Play, but the entire... All 10 episodes of the Let's Play. This is it, guys. This is the pinnacle. You can leave after this. Tirak says, I just had a thought, but could the tormented souls used to create Titans have been the dead seers genocided by the Massart? Would make the fact that they're meant to wipe out the Massart even better if Abaddon saw a way to use their resentment to his advantage. I love it. I think that is so cool. I really think that makes a lot of sense, and that would be amazing if they end up revealing that. that the Titans being forged in the foundry were the original seers that had been dying in that war. As they were dying, Abaddon was finding a way to pluck their souls into the realm of torment, forging them into Titans. They have all the motivation they could ever need to fuck them up and kill them. But again, I mean, it's good. The Abaddon connection sucks. It's really annoying to have to work Abaddon into all these stories, because all of this basically turns into Abaddon has a grudge against the Masat. Like, this came up when I was playing Prophecies last night. Abaddon influenced Vizier Kilbron to open the door and release the Titans and kill the Masat. Abaddon influenced Vizier Kilbron to have the Masat killed. Abaddon wanted the Masat killed. That's essentially what it comes down to. And you can say, why? What's he got against the Masat? Well, it's that in part, but I guess the sort of vague, generic answer is Abaddon just wanted to cause chaos. That's why he also manipulated Shiro Tagachi. And there's probably a line somewhere in Nightfall about how that chaos helped break the boundaries between the worlds and he can enact Nightfall or something. I don't know. Is that something they can leverage in the newer stories? I don't know. So it's just weird. You know, in a lot of ways it feels like... Also, there's a line from Vizier Kilbron where he's like, "Ha-ha! Mwah! I have released the Titans. Now I will control the world!" Like, he's not just doing it to wipe out the Masat. There are elements of Prophecies that make it look like the Masat's annihilation is collateral damage, is incidental. Glint wrote the Planeseeker Prophecies and said this is destined to happen. But it's more an accident as far as Kilbron and Abaddon were concerned. They both just wanted to fuck things up and have power. So, if that's the story, I don't know whether the Titan thing... I've talked myself off of it, I'm afraid, while I bigged this up. I like it, though. It's so cool, isn't it? Those souls had to come from someone. And if these Titans are going to go marching around killing Masat... I mean, but look, there is more to this story. Was it collateral? Because they very specifically went around and hunted out all the Masat. Why? I mean, there has to have been a very specific thing. Why? Because here's another thing that I noticed while playing Prophecies, guys. Here's another thing. We're going to miss this meta, by the way, 100%. Here's another thing. There's this generic idea. Kilbron opened portals. Titans went out all over the place, right? And looking back 10 years later, it's very easy to be sort of generic about that and say, oh, yeah, you know, there were just portals around. But look, when you actually play Prophecies, there are 3 very specific portals, and that's it. You see the portals, you break the portals as a part of the gameplay. There is a portal to Lion's Arch. There is a portal to Thunderhead Keep and the city. Don't forget, it's the capital of the Dwarves at the time. There is a portal to the Henge of Denrathi. And there is a portal to... They call it Rin, but it's not actually... The screenshot you can see on the other side is basically where you pop out. So, look, there's 4 portals, not 3. And that's it. Now, you could say there were more off-screen. And it was one of those that Kilbron sent to Janthir and any other places that Masat might have been living. Because there was always the theory that they were at Ratasum. You know, there's the whole anagram and it's close. This is where they would have been shipping back and forth. Not that we ever actually saw it. And then wherever else there might have been Masat. And I like to believe in that there were more portals you could actually physically see. But, yeah, I don't know, like... I love all these Prophecies things, I do, but I kind of feel like we're 1 foot in, 1 foot out a lot of the time as well, you know? Anyway, it's a cool thought that those spirits are seer spirits. It's a really cool thought. And if not those ones, in stories upcoming, there's a lot of seers that died. It was a long war, right? Okay. Now I've fucked this up. What's wrong with me? That's the thing about the Tormented Souls. What was this one? I missed this comment as well. It'd be cool if they had over-the-shoulders cutscenes like in the Old Republic game engine where the camera flips from looking at you to whoever's talking. Yeah, I really believe in features like that. 14 has a really good thing where it locks the camera onto whoever you're speaking.
It's on the move!
And it's a good approximation. It's a good middle ground of side-by-sides, but also being able to get a cinematic camera going during the talkie-talkie sections. Really, really handy. And I think ArenaNet have a lot to learn about other products. I haven't seen the exact Old Republic one, but I bet it's good. Based on nothing, but... no, I mean, come on. It was definitely good. That game was regarded very well for its story. Anyway, in terms of how uncontrolled the Season 3 Bloodstone explosion was, go to the map, WP, and look around. I think you're forgetting just how completely fucked up that map was. There are literal warps and rifts in reality that break down reality, ley lines blasting all over the sky, ghosts everywhere, raging elementals and wildlife. Half the jungle is up in the sky floating around. I think once you go back to Bloodstone Fen, you'll see how much worse it was in Season 3. Okay, but hold on. I just want to be very clear. That was right as the explosion happened. It's been potentially hundreds of years since this explosion happened. And many of the things you... So I'm suggesting... I've always been believing it calmed down a bit. And a lot of those things you just said are exactly the same here in Janthir. Raging elementals. Raging wildlife. I mean, shit in the sky, no. Ghosts everywhere, that's true as well. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just hundreds of years later. I don't deny that this one looks a little bit less devastating. Maybe. But it's tricky, guys, because look... I mean, the thing is, I always kind of believed before this expansion came out, the colouring here was because of a Bloodstone explosion. And if you map this giant circle, for this giant circle, this tiny circle, it would suggest this one was way more devastating. I mean, look at this as well. In all reality, right? Just this red splatter... It's bigger than the Season 3... Oh, no, sorry. It's like the... It's very comparable. I think it's comparable. I think there's just been a passage of time, that's all. And regardless, it doesn't really matter either way, does it? I mean, the less damage there was at this devastation, the worse, really. The more dangerous an enemy might be that's out there, right? Anyway, next, I always thought the Jinn were the ones that built all the towers the Ward uses. If you look at the old ruins around the Crystal Desert, they look like warmed-down versions of the Ward stuff. And you could say it's reused assets, and it is, let's be real. But I think it would be cool since we don't have much lore about early Jinn history. Yeah, it's like those golems that appeared in Abaddon's Reliquary and the Wizard's Court are using a lot. Is that a hint about Abaddon, or is it just reuse that we shouldn't think about? I don't know. We know that Akeem was a big part of the court. Maybe defined a lot of their architectural stylings, for sure. I forget where he's explained, but Mabon was talking about where he first met Isgaren. They were going to fight, but Mabon just gave up and stopped fighting, and they instead... And Isgaren went, whoa, what are you doing? They didn't fight, they ended up talking, and the story goes from there. Yeah, there's a lot of moments where cooler heads prevail, I think. And these guys built something great. Okay, so that was that. I don't know how I missed those messages, guys. Did I miss these ones as well? No, we read that. That's the Guild Wars 1 thing. Look how professional this is, guys. Okay, that was that. So then we're on to this. Okay, I see what confused me. So this guy is talking about Malice, and my instinct has been that Malice is set up to betray us in some way, major or minor. It can be a minor way. Do something Ash Legion-y and cool. Because there are so many other great Char they could have picked, specifically Flame Legion Char. And also, I'm not too happy with having an Imperator just wandering around. Anyway, Asg says, I think Malice is here specifically to give her some more screen time in prep for an upcoming Bang Our Trial Karn expansion, Cogs of War 2, as you said. There will definitely be some conflict between Kreesha and Malice. We already saw that. While they respect and like each other, they don't see eye to eye on big questions, and they would probably have different leadership styles. If or when we get to the Karn story, it would be kind of cool to be able to influence the outcome, similar to the Lion's Arch election in Season 1. I doubt Arena will go for that. Yeah, I doubt that as well. I don't think you'll see branching stuff like that. Especially not if they're developing another project that's set in the same universe, and they don't even know how the community will vote on its history. Also... Do we know who leads the Iron Legion after Smoder's death? I don't think I heard anything about a new Emperor. Okay, first of all, yeah, it could be to give her more screen time, but you also have to consider that any of the other characters would also like more screen time for a Karn storyline, right? Like, if they had done Ephraim here, and we were getting all these cool, juicy things about Ephraim reflecting on the Titan Crisis, then that also services Cogs of War 2, right? Assuming Ephraim would be in such a story. So, again, I don't see why it has to be Malice. But anyway, do we know who leads the Iron Legion? We do, actually. And again, it's kind of, you know, all these accusations of girl power and all this kind of stuff. It's... So, hold on, I'll give you the quote here. Right, when we were doing Dragon Response missions, which were set after the Drizzlewood stuff, obviously... we could ask about Maya Kindleshot as Iron Legion's new Imperator. And Krisha gives us the details. She says, Maya is cut from the same cloth, that's for damn sure. I'm not surprised, considering the company that Smoda liked to keep. Fortunately for us, she doesn't have the same aspirations that Smoda had. Kana is a tricky subject. Just saying you want the job can get you shanked. She knows better. There, that line I referenced in one of these Janthir Wild streams. Aside from that, the rank and file, like her, as she's promoted, loyal tribunes. Kindleshot will do Iron proud, I think. So yeah, so she's the next Iron Imperator. Now, who is Maya? If you guys really don't remember, see, for me, I was thinking, fuck, was Maya in one of the novels or something? Maya barely has been in the game story. Maya is like a generic, or Mia, I don't know how we want to pronounce that. But she's like a generic NPC at Caudicus's manor in the dungeon. That's the first time you'll really meet her. You might remember she's like in the party and she talks a bit about things. Then way later, when we were dealing with the death of Kralkatorrik, I think in Thunderhead Keep, she was in that patch as well, very, very briefly, like very briefly. And then once Smoda was dead, ArenaNet had this thing of who do we promote, and they just picked her, I guess, based on whatever. Obviously, telling that story was out of scope of the Icebrood Saga. Like a few other topics. Small topics. Small topics. They got most of the big things done. In a really satisfying way, I'd say. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not over it, alright? I'm not over it. Okay, next we have Asgargzigel. Oh, no. Okay, yeah. That's that. Just random possibility that hit me in the shower. What if Guild Wars 3 is Utopia? It's not land on Tyria, but another planet we move to after Tyria is destroyed at the end of the Guild Wars 2 life cycle. It blows my mind. This message was on part 9. How many times in this Let's Play have I proposed that Guild Wars 3 will not be on Tyria, but will be in the Mists? And here we've got someone watching the show, 9 parts in, has heard me say that countless times, and then says, whoa, brainwave, what if it's not in Tyria? Unless you're saying specifically Utopia. Guild Wars 3 is Utopia, and Utopia isn't on Tyria, it's on another planet. I can't remember what they explained about Utopia once it got canonized in the art book. That might not work. And why do we have to force that? Let's keep Utopia on Tyria. Why does Utopia have to be in the Mists? I say keep it on Tyria. Now, you're also proposing a thing here, and you got some responses, I think, in the comments on this. Guild Wars 3 is another world after Tyria is destroyed. And the comments you got were people saying, oh no, I don't want to go to another world. There's so much rich history here that they could build on, blah, 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 blah. And look, I'm just going to propose it. We can have both. You don't have to destroy Tyria, you know. This isn't the end of Final Fantasy 1.0. We don't have to, and even they didn't really destroy it, right? There's this thing. You're proposing that maybe because you think it's a cool story beat, but maybe also because there is this thing, this huge thing, this elephant in the room where it's like, if we think about the idea of a Guild Wars 3, we're thinking about the idea of replacing Guild Wars 2, right? That doesn't have to be the case. It doesn't. And, you know, and in service of replacing the game, you have to destroy the old ones. I don't believe that the release of a Guild Wars 3 has to mean these servers go offline, or they stop making products for this. At the end of the day, from ArenaNet's perspective as a business, if they make some really bad decisions... There's so much you have to figure out with an MMO, right? So many places you can go wrong with the economy, with the leveling, with a lot of stuff, right? Like, look at launch Guild Wars 2's dungeons. They're not bad, but the studio wasn't used to working with engine jumping available, and a lot of it got invalidated as people just skipped around. There's so much that can go wrong with a new MMO. Now, if Guild Wars 3 comes out and bombs in one aspect or another, and the player base ends up sticking about in Guild Wars 2, and there are stories like that. What was that FPS that just had a sequel and everyone's still just on the original? There are, you know, it's competing against a very rich feature base, Guild Wars 3. ArenaNet aren't going to already nuke it. They're not going to pull the servers off straight away, just on the off chance that they're reliant on Guild Wars 2, and Guild Wars 2 continues on. You know, old school RuneScape versus RuneScape 3 style situation, right? For something maybe a bit closer to home. So, no, don't destroy Tyria. And to the people who responded to you, who said, no, don't put Tyria don't put Guild Wars 3 in another world. Tyria has history. Let me be clear. If they don't have to destroy Tyria, you can have this Tyria in Guild Wars 3. You can have both. You can have it all. You can have a new MMO on a new fresh world, still populated by familiar races like the Norn and the humans and the Asura, whatever arena they want to take. You can be on a new world, clean slate, fresh history, full of intrigue, full of excitement. And you can pop over to this place every now and then. 1,000 years in the future or 1,000 years in the past. In fact, I'm just going to say, okay, this is my dream that I've just talked myself into here. Here's my dream Guild Wars 3. Ready? The bulk of it is a new world. It's another major reality. What did I phrase this as before? It's another Class M reality, okay? It's big. It's like Tyria. It's a special place in the mists. It's one of the places that Lord Odrin visited, okay? So you've got Tyria, where Odrin was born. You've got another Class M. This is Guild Wars 3. It's a new history, but guess what? People like Odrin and the gods have tampered over the years, so guess what? They're a Norn living here, they're a Asura living. They're totally different. They have different history and stuff. Physiologically, vibe-wise, though, they're very similar, okay? So Guild Wars 3 is set on another major reality. Let me just say that again. Guild Wars 3 is set on another major reality. Clean slate, lots of fresh things that they can do. However, within Guild Wars 3, we can pop over to this realm. They're both within the engine. You will see a beautiful Ascalon, a great northern wall, and all that kind of stuff in Guild Wars 3. You will see Ore in Guild Wars 3. You will see Ara in Guild Wars 3. Because you can have both. They can juggle both. And, as a final note, for timeline-wise, they set this 100 years before Guild Wars 1. Because that's a really rich area. This is where you get your prequel thing. I don't know. Am I doing too much at once? But I like that idea, you know. At what point in the timeline are we when we visit Tyria in Guild Wars 3? At what point in the timeline are we? I suggest you pick maybe 1k years plus from now. Or you do some of these really exciting areas from prehistory. Maybe while Ara is still good and all that. Or is all good. The problem is, again, like... ordinarily, it's really tricky to set Guild Wars 3 on Tyria in the past because the future is set. It really limits the kind of stories they can tell, ordinarily. But if it's just one of the realm, if the major focus for Guild Wars 3 is on this place, then you can probably get away with setting this in the past, and you can have a lot of juicy shit. Maybe you meet actual Lord Odrin there, and maybe all these stories are building up Lord Odrin. There you go. This is the kind of shit that I could sit down, like, for days working on a video script and compile somehow into a Guild Wars mystery video. But at the end of the day, we can get the same thing in this for those who want to watch the streams. I don't know. Alright, so there you go. I don't believe in destroying Tyria. Let me just say that. Right, moving on. Grubby. Here we got Gorbel. Could the 10 more years, so there was that cryptic thing of the Char that was following the Titans, suggested the end of the world or something was happening in 10 years. And I was like, what the fuck is that? That sounds new. Here's a great theory about it. I think you might have nailed it. Gorbel says, that could the 10 more years be related to when the Elder Dragons were originally supposed to begin awakening? The Searing took place in 1070. Eye of the North took place in 1078, so it's close to 10. Don't forget that that ghost might have been from before 1070 as well. It could have been 1069, 1068. 1069, actually, I think, is when they came to Gavril and all that. So it would be 10 years for Primordus' first stirring. The extra 2 years could also be explained by Primordus awakening slightly early due to Abaddon's death. Or perhaps it would have taken 2 years for the rest of the Elder Dragons to wake up. Maybe that guy didn't have an exact date. He was just rounding off. Regardless, it sounded to me like they were fleeing an apocalypse, not causing one. And the world almost ended around at that time. Yeah, I didn't really get the sense they were fleeing. I felt like they were happy for an apocalypse. That's what it looked like to me. They were fanatical Char happy for an apocalypse. I don't know. But the 10 years, were they alluding to Primordus? The question here is, though, why would that Char have known anything about Primordus? And you got a response. Lord Morkish, good shit, man, because you're right. Lord Morkish says, nice observation. Fleeing Elder Dragons does make the most sense, honestly. I don't know whether I agree with that. But he says, they've annihilated countless civilizations through countless cycles, something I find less intuitive to believe after End of Dragons. Somehow I can take the dragons less seriously after that. Me too. But it's true, they were impossibly ancient and could have ended the world many times over. I'm not sure that this Char should have been aware of the dragons, though. Maybe he was privy to special Titan knowledge, and if the Titans are forged from souls, some of these souls would have known about the dragon cycle. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Why would he know? Because he got it from the Titans. Why would the Titans know? Because of their past lives before they were tortured into becoming Titans. Kind of works. So is there a big dick Titan out there from the previous Elder Dragon Rising or something? Were the Titans preaching about the Elder Dragon cycle to Guild Wars 1 Flame Legion chart? I mean, this is why you would have Ephraim in these scenes, because Ephraim would tell you their history properly, right? I don't know. It's odds. But the Flame Legion did go immediately from Titans to worshipping Destroyers a few years later with that very Primordus Rising. Maybe that's not a coincidence. There might even be something in ancillary Eye of the North information that specifies that. But I think he could have been talking about the Elder Dragon Rising. Yeah, he could have maybe known. It's a good one. Next, BattleBot says, I love how Waiting Sorrow references Coda directly in this dialogue. Even with her knowledge and thousands of years' experience, really solidifies that Coda is a very real and powerful mist entity. I really just hope that we continue this thread and he's some sort of bear deity tied to Tyria, not just some demon messing around with Codan minds or something. I don't normally like escalation of power, but that idea you mentioned, WP, of Coda as a great spirit on the same level as Suwon got me excited. Yeah, I'm not really that excited about that. That's a Cossage theory, really. I think it could be cool, and I'm glad people are excited about it. Do you know what, as well? It totally went over my head that Waiting Sorrow referenced Coda there. I didn't even register that. But yeah, I should have registered it, and that would have been very cool. Also, I just noticed in chat we had some... so there was a Cograth, welcome to Spud, thank you, man. And also, with the donation... Guys, I got to say, it's so motivating to get... This is really gross. It's like e-begging, isn't it? E-panhandling. But the donations are really appreciated and very cool, thank you. It really motivates me to do these. That's another thing, you know, I could spend days on a single Guild Wars mystery video. People don't donate on videos. But they do on live chats and stuff. So thank you very, very, very much. That's really lovely of you. So there you go. Let me just scroll up real quick. I'm just scanning. Yeah, okay. Those were the two things. Thank you. All right, next. That was BattleBots. Wait, did I do everything? Yeah, I did. I did do everything from BattleBots there. Next, Finnock89. Fun fact, this was one of the earlier comments we had. The TV show Person of Interest has a character called John Greer, who works for a corporation called Decima Technologies. I think someone at ArenaNet must be a fan, ... Wow, that's amazing. I've never seen Person of Interest. That is quite cool, and it seems some people agreed with you as well there. Okay, we got a big one here from Tanner. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Good job, OBS. Let's do it this way. Not that way. Oh, whatever. I'll just scale it. Okay, I had hoped Malice would contribute a unique perspective to Janthir Wilds, but she really doesn't. At the second Tyrian Alliance meeting, she gave an excuse about how she was irrational and emotional when it came to the vote, how it was unbecoming of an Imperator. Only, nothing she's done has been like an Imperator. If she didn't feel like tagging along, we could get some serious conversation with Kaith. When it comes to the first touchdown in Janthir, we could talk about what she really thinks is happening to the Pale Tree, open up about us missing Aurene at the start of Secrets, leading us to feeling purposelessness and therefore an easy recruit for the Astral Ward, or ask if she ever thinks about Zodja. I feel like there was ever a way to summarise for returning players who hadn't played Secrets of the Obscure maybe, how we got from the Gyala epilogue to Janthir. It would have been that conversation with Kay. Really good point, but I think it's unfair to blame all that on Malice. Look, ideally, the writers write it all. There's not actually a reason why we can't get both. You can complain about pace and stuff, but it doesn't have to be voice acted. It can be text stuff. We can just interact with her and go, you can skip through it if we want. But I think these conversations should be in the story, and when they're not, I'm dismayed. I really like the subject material, and it really feels like there's good world building going on here, but I think we're missing out with this. There should be bulky shit like that. Yeah, why... Kaith is one of the characters of this story, and I feel like I've barely got to interact with her. You know, there's this thing. Guild Wars characters can feel very cartoony, very shallow, very cardboardy. And it's because we don't get these conversations. So great to highlight them. And as much as I've talked about Malice, I don't think it's Malice's fault that we didn't get those chats. It's just a quantity issue. And why isn't it there? Don't tell me it's budget, a voice acting budget. It doesn't have to be voice acted, in my opinion. Instead, we get a third wheel in Malice, whose dialogue is so plain she may as well be a new character created for Janthir Wilds anyway. Ember or Krisha would have worked just as well if we wanted a headstrong Char's perspective. Granted, Krisha seems extremely busy, but Malice should seem extremely busy too. Yes, Krisha seems busy because she's off-screen a lot. You know, we see her for glimpse, and that's what I believe in for all the Imperators. Bangar and Smoda and Krisha were on another level as Imperators. To me, Malice used to feel like that. Yes, she did. Especially as Ash Legion, the more off-screen she is, the better, I think. But that's because we barely got to know her. From a distance, she looked like an Imperator, precisely because she was distant. Now that we're buddies, she's just another adventurer. I like Ephraim too, and Malice isn't as soft-spoken as he is, but I feel like he eclipses her as a leader. Should I feel that way about the Ash Imperator? Is she meant to be inconspicuous in her personality too? Invisible? Love it. Again, that's why I will be thrilled if she does something dodgy. Because I think that's the best reason for why she would be here. And yeah, I think Ephraim, Ephraim is great because he's Flame Legion. That's why I think he's a great candidate for this story. But he's still a bad candidate because he's also an Imperator. But at the very least, we know that the modern Flame Legion are like nothing. They're a fragment of a fragment, and they're rebuilding. So I can kind of headcanon it that, yeah, look... I mean, no, it's a terrible... They're in a vulnerable way, and they really need a good leader, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Anyway, good chat about Malice, I think. Watching WP play through the Bloodstone Crater story instance, I actually found myself wanting Marjorie's input. Oh, no, we're still on Malice here, not Malice's. Unlike Malice, Marjorie would have pressed for more answers from the Char Ghost, and her dialogue has that film noir private investigator type zest to it. In contrast, Malice is just so milk toast. Yeah, I found that about not just the main characters in this, but like a lot of the side characters. Someone left a comment, I didn't screenshot it, but someone said, yeah, a lot of the new voice acting in this kind of has a we grabbed a guy out of the office vibe. And yeah, I what mean by that to an extent. I'm worried if she's being squandered at the moment, but I have faith that the devs have planned for it later, given how good they've been at weaving all the threads of other stories into Janthir. Also, that ambient ghost dialogue was really cool. In my response to the idea that Saul was the only one to see or communicate with the Masart, I'd like to point out that the open world Masart ghost and Manakaz were pretty adamant they not be disturbed. The unnamed Masart in particular was pretty pissed off. If they really cared so much about powering the Bloodstone that they seemingly sacrificed their own kind to do it, then I feel confident in saying that a mortal human bothering the blood phenom with a silly question like why would be a death sentence. Therefore, only Saul could get away with it. But maybe the Masart didn't sacrifice themselves to the Bloodstone. Maybe the first Titans killed them on it well, not accidentally. The way Hablion was killed on the Maguma Bloodstone by his enemies. Yes. And again, as I said, in Guild Wars 1, I think it's pretty clear they were interacting with more than just Saul. But maybe Saul could have chatted back to an extent. I don't know. Look, Saul is not great, I think. I don't think Saul really had any control over the Masart. I don't think they gave him any leeway. Only in as much as they needed a puppet, and you don't want to beat your puppet, right? But at the end of the day, he was just a loser that they found, and they propped him up. And they said, okay, you can be our pawn. I don't think he had any actual leverage, and that's what's great about the story. It's sad. And now I have to wonder whether a Masart who split into aspects could resurrect if part of them lay trapped in the Bloodstone. Could large parts of Manakaz be in Bavanissos in the Wizard's Tower? Fun thoughts for what they might do with the patches immediately upcoming? We had another donation there. Thank you, Marshall. Here's some extra motivation for more of these epic lore, mystery, and exploration videos. Thank you. I'm glad you're calling them epic. I'm basically relying on the fact that Cody is dropping timestamps in the comments. So people could skip the Q&A bits if they want. But, I mean, look, if I don't do the Q&A bits, guys, we'll be done in like an hour, and there you go. That's it. And then you have just this mountain... Because some people have said to me, why not play the whole thing and then do the Q&A after? The pace is just fucked at that point. You know, we're going to forget minor details. I'm happy with the way that I'm doing this. I don't like this weird thing where when making content, there's always this sense it has to be as fast as possible and you have to be rushing out. And, you know, especially, we get this, and then it's waiting around for 3 months, you know. Edit, I had to make this comment 6 pages long, but I found this fascinating. I don't think Bavanissos will be an anagram of anything, and I'd be perfectly happy to be wrong, but I remembered some useless trivia that is unknown to most people. Bavagra, there are different ways it's spelled, so you may see others if you look into it, is a Buddhist and Hindu idea that is basically a step above nirvana. Bhava means existence, something physical and material, while Agra means superior. Together, it means highest point above the material world, a state of enlightenment, and at the end of your religious path, even higher than nirvana. Where nirvana is letting go of your mortal, worldly desires, Bhavagara, as I understand it, or Barvagra, is to having neither thoughts nor having no thoughts. You beat the system, basically. Paether, can Cryptis let go of their physical urges? If the Masat are Cryptis, doesn't it seem like they let go? The same word, Barva, I know it's got a H that isn't in Barvanisos, but that could just be the devs making the name prettier, or obscuring this, can also refer to creation, origins, rebirth, and resurrections, which are huge themes regarding the Astral Ward and the Masat as a species. Nisos, on the other hand, is Greek for island. Not a whole lot of digging involved in that. But, not a whole lot of digging involved in that, I know, but I'm pretty damn convinced that Barvanisos, or the island of the physical world creation, has some connection to the Wizard's Tower. I'd be a little bit disappointed if they turn out to be the same thing, and I know I'm down a rabbit hole, but I wanted to put it out there. And there's a lot of religious symbolism already present thanks to the White Mantle, so even if Barvanisos turns out to just be some name with no hidden meanings, maybe we can infer White Mantle beliefs about it, or possible sources of inspiration that the devs took. You're loving the videos and discussions. What a great comment, man. Unbelievably good, isn't it? Yeah, I think you've probably cracked it. I think that's probably the extent of the meaning of the island and the city. Really cool. Really very, very cool. Oh, and another one from Foghorn. More motivation. Thank you. More motivational. Thank you. Thank you, guys. It really does make the streams feel very worth it and good. Because, you know, usually my main occupation is growing the audience. I want people chatting, I want people sharing the videos, and I want to grow. You know, short-term donations don't matter so much as growing. But of course, there's not been much of either lately, so thank you very much. Okay, next. Oh, no, that's it. I think we're done. Did I skip a fuck ton of stuff? No, we're done. All right, good. Yeah, all right, there you go, guys. So that's the Q&A done. Nice. So, I think it's time now for us to get some of the details. Now, how am I going to do this exactly? What I would like to do is grab a tab. Oh, God, not that. Not like that. Okay, do this. Do this. And then I'm going to type life in the Lowlands into wiki. You guys can't see all this, obviously. Life in the Lowlands. There we go. And then let's throw up this here, move this here, move this here. Okay. Also, yeah, did I miss anything in the live chat? If you guys posted a message and you really want me to see it, just post it again. Okay, also, I'm thinking map comp would be really easy to do since we're so close to it here. We'll probably get it while we're collecting these things. Okay. Like, I never came to this lake here, it seems. Oh, I do like my sharpening that I've set up here, actually. But yeah, the current exploration has been super sampling at the moment. Oh my god, that villager swimming, that looked really cool. I love that animation there. Okay, what was this? This was the Loch Lucent. Okay, so, the first book. Echoes of Night Sightings we read, Queen of the Bog we read, Master of the Spear by Snargle. We're going to do a Snargle. Let's open up with something light and frothy and fun, shall we? Stung by Love. This is an apiary halt. It's right near the start of the map, actually. How have I missed this? Really? It's like there. It's by that tree, apparently. That's unbelievable. How? Non-believable. Oh, my lord. And Martha Daglin with $20. Dude, thank you. It's a cyclical system because your videos help motivate me to care about the story again. Yeah, well, I mean, look, I'm the same. If I've got someone that I'm watching who's really into it, I get more into it, you know? Like, I made the same argument with PvP, you know? There's nothing wrong with Conquest, but you need a bulk of people who are into it that will teach and impart, and, you know, it has to feel like there's a scene. When there's no scene, just sort of doesn't all snowball together. Again, the big thing on my mind with all of this is I am loving this, right? I really am. It's very good. But I am concerned in 3 months. There's a lot of minutiae buried in achievements that you'll only ever get once. Like, I'm not going to be fucked to go through and, like, dig. I mean, I've done quite a bit of digging, I guess, into Secrets of the Obscure. I want to remember and be fully into it in 3 months. I'm really scared I won't be, and I'll play it, and I'll be like, And, you know, you'll go online, and it'll be people crying that it's too small, and this, that, and the other thing. and it will just sort of have a bit of a drag. I really hope. Look, there's the whole thing that if they need to improve on anything from Secrets of the Obscure, it is the post-patch stuff. So let's see if Janthir Wilds does. Stung by Love. The lush meadowlands of Lovecombe Valley stretched as far. I like to imagine Snargle sitting right here, looking out across the valley. Isn't that pretty, guys? Look at that. Listen to the birds. Oh, it's very ambient, isn't it? The lush meadows of Lovecombe Valley stretched far as the eye could see, glistening with moist flowers. Deep in the valley's bosom, a worker bee named Stinger.
Punish those pests!
Punish those. Okay. A worker bee named Stinger lived a productive yet lonely existence. Stinger was known for producing the sweetest honey the meadow had ever known. But one day, Stinger found himself so morose, the dazzling fields around him seemed drained of colour. Even worse, his honey began to lose its sweet taste. And then he saw her. A radiant Coden with oak-coloured fur hummed softly to herself as she strolled through the meadow. Her name was Burgeoning Buds. When he's writing actual romance, right, and love, and actual intimacy and connection, it makes me think, who has Snargle actually ever loved? What is Snargle's, like, status? He seems quite lonely, actually, right? Exiled here for a while, exiling himself here, exploring, living alone. I wonder if they can ever actually spin something quite captivating about that. Because as far as I know, we don't really know anything about his need to be with other people and so on, right? Even worse, his honey began to lose its sweet taste, and then he saw her. A radiant Coden with oak-coloured fur hummed softly to herself as she strolled through the meadow. Wait, we're not actually talking about a bee, are we? I assumed it was a metaphor. No, it literally is a worker bee. This is about a bee falling in love with a Coden. Okay. I thought, you know, you can call a person a worker bee, and you name it Stinger. You know, oh, that's just him with his literary clumsiness. But I assumed it was all still nonetheless a metaphor. We were talking about two Coden. If it's literally a bee, then that's hilarious. But I'm now realizing he's got that line in there about how the honey was losing its taste. I'm like, well, that's a bit of a mixed metaphor. No, I think we're literally talking about a bee at this point. A radiant Coden with oak-coloured fur hummed softly to herself as she strolled through the meadow. Her name was Burgeoning Buds. Is he going to run up and sting her and she's going to slap it or something? An attentive gardener and a horticulturalist, Burgeoning Buds returned to the field daily to tend to the flowers. She kept even the most bashful of buds satisfied with ample moisture and a tender touch. Petals a-quiver, they seemed to blossom at the mere sight of her. How will I ever get her to notice me? Lamented Stinger, as he admired her from the concealment of a nearby tree branch. I'm no flower. I have no pretty petals or pleasant fragrance. And goodness, if I get too close, I might prick her with my stinger out of nerves. Okay. Just then, Stinger sprang from his hiding place and buzzed off to work. He had been stung by an idea. Brilliant. For several days and nights, Stinger got to work pollinating every flower in sight. If I can't win her attention with beauty, I'll do so with sweetness. When he deemed his honey the best he'd ever made, he mustered all the courage he could and addressed Burgeoning Buds for the first time. Excuse me, ma'am. I see you like the flowers of this field, and they're very lovely indeed, but have you tried this meadow's famous honey? It's known worldwide, and I'm something of an expert in the craft. Oh me, oh my. I had heard word of this legendary honey. I'd be pleased as a spring breeze if you'd be so kind as to share some with me, dearie bee. I like this because a Coden would respect the life of a bee. They wouldn't freak... The Coden are brilliant. I mean, these are only lowland Coden. They're not as cool as the highland ones, with their really dogmatic views about Coda and balance. And with that, she tasted the sweet nectar blissfully. Oh, I thought that was licking it from her lips. I read ahead. I thought that was licking it from his lips. Someone make me a fan art of that. Only spend 5 minutes on it in paint, please. But let's see that. Let's see a Coden licking the lips of a bee. I've tasted my fair share of honey. I'll put it into the start of the next episode, I swear. I've tasted my fair share of honey from lands both near and far. But I've never savoured something so pristine as this nectar you've made for me, dearie bee. That reminds me, the next FF6 episode, I have a fan art one of you guys made. I want to put into the start. They stayed inside long into the night, talking, laughing, and drinking in the sweetness of each other's companies. Oh, the wordplay. And as the birds and the bees of the meadow tucked themselves to sleep, one very lucky Coden found herself stung by love. Wow. Snargle, you're a hack. You can't write a bee. You can't write a story about a Coden falling in love with a bee. I thought we were going to do, like, Kefka's metamorphosis or something, you know. Let's get some real... go somewhere with it. Like, holding hands, they went to a wizard who could transform the Coden, and they lived happily ever after. Stung by love. Love it. That's easily one of my favourite Snargle novels so far. Overfeeding is the next one. It's not a novel, necessarily. It could just be details about the Warclaws in their pen. It's not, though. It's in the main town. I'm very excited about these, by the way, guys, because, again, as we were told on the previous part, there's a bunch of information from Stoic Alder about how he feels after the Second Lion's Arch meeting.
Our target is quick. Tether it with your journey
and
kit,
what he thought about the
Tyrian
Tyrian UN and all that.
No needless suffering. The village was gifted a few communication devices, so I'll be with you the whole way.
Did I say Kefka?
A little scary, but technology
Yeah, that's
has
definitely
become.
FF6 right there. That's amazing. Kefka's metamorphosis. Because metamorphosis is a horrendous mechanic in that Let's Play as well. I don't know, guys, if you want to watch that between episodes of this LP, it's coming to a close very soon. That's one of the reasons I'm going to do a channel update. But, my god, Metamorphose, just insane. Overfeeding. Reminder to everyone that Beans is not to be fed between scheduled meal times. No excuses. She's beginning to look more like a seal than Jernigan these days. I caught 6 of you sneaking her cuts of fresh salmon the other afternoon. That includes you, Chloralder. Don't think I didn't notice. Bob Vale. That's awesome. I love the idea of seeing him sneaking down here to feed. Which one is it? Beans. Where is Beans? Oh, I don't see Beans. That's a great name as well for a fat pet. Beans. Love it. Warclaw youth there. We can interact with the youth. I think on, like, day one, I got some comments from you guys saying that you can, like, feed and pet more Warclaws, and I didn't realise. And there were people watching it going, oh, I really want him to pet it, and I didn't, and I'm really sorry. Look, I'm petting all of these, every single one. By the way, there's also the topic of hidden achievements. I know we're getting really close to the end here, with the obvious ones, but we've had a few hidden ones. You never know what might be out there. I doubt anything too amazing, in terms of, like, lore revelations. Demise of the Deep Crawler. So, we're going into a house over at that lock that I was at just now. Had I known, I probably would have just interacted with it straight away, but whatever. Oh man, my drink is cold. I made a coffee and it is full on cold here. Oh. I'm going to try to drink it anyway. Is Stinger a metaphor also? Well, look, I wasn't going to be so crass as to say that. Oh, my ambient occlusion just bugged in a weird way there. I wasn't going to be so crass as to go there. But, I mean, who doesn't like a good dick joke? The B-movie? Oh, my God, yeah. Wait, does that happen in the B-movie, though? The B-movie is weird. I watched it once, like 3 years ago, maybe. It's my understanding that the B-movie is one of those, you know, like you get these comfort movies that people just kind of watch over and over and over to turn off their brain. For a lot of people, I think maybe half a click of a generation below mine, I think the B-movie is that for them. There's certainly a lot of, like, weird meme videos about the B-movie, right? Where it's like, this is the B-movie, except it gets faster every time someone says the letter T or something, right? WP, have you met the twins yet? Thoughts? Yeah, that was in the last part. They're very weird and very cryptic. I don't know whether they really are connected to the Titans. They're odd. I don't know what to think about that. The fact that people keep asking me tells me that probably in Part 9 and Part 10 here as well, we're not going to really get an answer. A Bearkin Guide to Celestial Bodies. The Flame Bearer. Celestial Bodies. Now this could be really interesting, guys. Talking about this whole idea of, like, Class M realities and major realities and fractal realities and, you know, missed planetoids or whatever. It makes me think about the astronomical elements of the physical solar system quite a lot as well. Solar system, galaxy, I guess. Universe, even further beyond. The Flamebearer. Since ancient days, before the previous dragon rise. Do you know what? I was just talking about the stars there, and it immediately made me really giddy for Stellaris. I think I have this thing where I play RPGs like this, and then I immediately get so captivated and excited by like the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you know? Suddenly I get giddy and excited thinking about massive civilizations and technology and skyscrapers and ecumonopoli and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, since the ancient days, before the previous dragon rise, the Flamebearer was a symbol of resilience against... Okay, hold on. They're talking about stars that they see, right? Now, I'm still a little bit vague on this, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure that it was confirmed at the end of Core that when an Elder Dragon awoke, or maybe when they were destroyed as well, you actually saw that reflected in the stars. Like, that's what the Jotun learned. If you do Aurora Explorable, right, they had the Mystic Telescope, and they realized you could predict dragon rises and stuff by looking at stars. So, and that's really cool. I love that. And it kind of suggests something, doesn't it, about this... There's something there. The Elder Dragon cycle is over, so now does Tyria appear like a star in the mists or something? And now it's obvious because our dragons are all gone, so we shine really brightly. And we're chumming the water for the other mist entities. There's something there. It's like wrangling cats or something. How do we get that into a coherent theory? But you get what I mean, right? Anyway, since the ancient days, before the previous dragon rise, the Flamebearer was a symbol of resilience against the harsh elements from the far Shiver Peaks to the bitter Northlands even further. Nice. Its significance grew in the times of Jormag's unrest. For most lowland folk, its deeper meaning is a vestige of our past connection to our people's namesake. As in Coda the entity. For the Highlanders, the flame is deeply connected to their faith in Coda. His blessing of flame... Oh, that's what we deal with in Bitterfrost Frontier. His blessing of flame holds special significance to them. It can be seen from midwinter through early spring. Well, no, but what about now? Oh, they're just saying since ancient days, before even the dragon rise. Oh, I got confused thinking about stars and stuff, and it didn't really have actually any bearing on this detail at all. But still, that's really cool. Look, a little bit of detail. Lowlanders talking about Highlanders. The Spearhead. Nice. Obviously, Spear feature the expansion. It's kind of cool that we get a bit of lore in a weird roundabout way about stars. A star that's named a spear. Poison True. Its guiding star, always pointing us toward new adventures and challenges. One of the first constellations... oh, yeah, we're not talking about a single star. We're talking about a constellation. Lots of them. Anyway... Its guiding star always pointing us towards new adventures and challenges. One of the first constellations traced by our clan after our split from the Highlanders. In more recent history, it has become most emblematic of our people's mastery of the spear, as both a tool and a weapon. It can be seen from midsummer through early autumn. The Hammer, one for each season, really. The Hammer is another shared constellation between both forms of Coden, representative of craft and the virtue of honest and challenging work. Both Highland and Lowland Bearkin take great pride in their crafts, seeking mastery and talents recognized in paths chosen. Regardless of time or talent, all must temper and shape their skills in the forge to reach such heights. It can be seen from the late spring through midsummer. And the Fisher, a symbol of our connection to the land and sea, a constant reminder of what we owe the natural world and the sustenance it provides. It can be seen in the night sky from late autumn through midwinter, correlating with migration of several species of fish to the headwaters. Okay, this is just kind of nice rounding out setting information. It's really good. I excited myself into thinking it was going to be hard, majorly deep, but no. Also, I don't think we've ever been in this house. That isn't even the book that I was looking for initially. There's a cat on that bed. That's quite cool. And that guy's sleeping. So So let's just stop and appreciate. When I get to decorating, do we get these cupboards? A lot of people are doing really wacky things with the decoration system. I think I'm going to go, like, kind of plain with it, so to speak. I want to build a house that feels like a house, you know, and has stuff like this. We'll see. I'm mostly excited to get all my characters and stuff in there. Coden Stoutheart. So here we go. Demise of the Deep Crawler. Yo-ho, what lies down below? Yo-ho, what lies down below? The deep-crawling king, us bearkin still sing, of lost ones you've torn, on teeth they were shorn, below into the dark depths unknown. Yo-ho, what lies down below? Yo-ho, what... I don't know how do you sing? This is like reading Lord of the Rings, you know. How do you sing? How do you find a rhyme or a rhythm? A fisher forbear, a cub underwear. The king claimed his prize, all thought it unwise to swallow the fisherman's kid. Yo-ho, what lies down below? Yo-ho, what lies down below? Her spear lashed with a chain, her stance like a fane, thrown sharp did it glide. A thorn in its side, gutted, the salty king fled. Yo-ho, what lies down below? Yo-ho, what lies down below? Keen hook held the line, northbound on the brine. The deep crawler brawled through Janthiri squalls, tossed closer to the dark, stony shores. Yo-ho, what lies down below? Yo-ho, what lies down below? A flash of white light, coursing did smite the deep crawler dead. Keen looked on with dread. Yo-ho, what lies down below? Yo-ho, what lies down below? Washed up on the beach with blade in paw breached. The dead crawler's gut with fervour she cut, fishing her silent cub free. Yo-ho, what lies down below? Yo-ho, what lies down below? What are we singing about? Is the idea that this is the Leviathan? Here's my reading of it initially. The Leviathan ate, like, her kid. She lost her baby. So it's Moby Dick. She goes off, she hunts it down, she kills it. Well, it's not really Moby Dick, is it? Just because it features a big seawater animal. Anyway, she kills it. It washes up on the beach, and she cuts into its stomach to find her lost child. Is that it? I'm worried I'm going a bit too grim. But I feel like that's what it's saying. On the topic of me going too grim, somebody left a comment, right, with that thing about the Valraven. It was a Valraven, like, eating the heart out of a Coden child, right? And this woman's, you know, her baby, basically. And, I assumed, just reading it, I thought it was like a stillbirth thing. Right? And I had a comment. A guy was like, WP, it didn't say it was a still... Why did you go so dark so quick? And obviously, it didn't have to be that, did it? It could have been something that died when it was like 1 or 2 or whatever, right? Could have been any number of things. I don't know why my head instantly went there. So I'm worried I'm doing something similar here, but people in chat are saying I've got it. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's weird. With this, ever since, like, Dragon Bash, I've always thought... There's probably someone at ArenaNet that has a really cool idea for exactly how this song sounds, and it would be cool to hear it one day. Oh, we had a donation from Cograth. Dude, thank you. Thank you very much. Wow, man. Thank you very much. This is a reference to something in Janthir's injury. Well, I'm assuming it's just the Leviathan. Is it something more? If it's something more, let me know, because I'm going to be moving on here and getting the last... 4 books. So we're going to the Silken Wire now. Wire. I'm still not sure how to say that really. Silken Weir. Okay. Somewhat close. Oh, it's near a mastery point that we didn't get. Do you know what? We get a POI at the same time. This is cool. So I thought this would be a good collection to do. It's like a bit of meaning. I like Guild Wars the most when I'm doing map comp accidentally because I just have other objectives, you know. When you're going to POIs for POI's own sake, it's always a bit hollow and empty. Especially when they turn out to not really have much detail of their own, you know. You know, it's just a name that pops up on the UI, but aside from that, there's not really much going on. It's Weir. That's how we say it, Weir. Oof, you're an hour late. You hope you didn't miss much. To be honest, as far as the main story is concerned, no, you didn't. But some hopefully fun reflection and all that, you know. The Titan research side quest will blow my mind. So many revelations. Really? Well, we're getting to it. Here's, I killed this Valraven while leveling my masteries between one of the episodes. Speaking of which, we haven't made too much progress since. I've actually been quite interested. I popped a birthday booster when I started this. I think this character had already eaten one. So I've played the game for nearly 24 hours at this point. I know some of you are thinking, oh, it's just standing doing Q&As. Off screen, there's been a reasonable amount. I've just been waiting to see this go down, you know. Here we go, Silken Weir. What is a weir then? It's not a book, it's a... Oh, no. Wait, is that a word for some kind of journal or something? It was covered in webs, which I've cleared away. Leaf on water, she escapes me. The arrow points, dull and insecure. Whispers shared, are slowly forgotten. Her spear stands where she once stood. The arrow points. Are we talking about the constellation maybe now? I don't know. Leaf on water, she escapes me. Dull and insecure. Whispers shared, are slowly forgotten. Her spear stands where she once stood. Covered in webbing. Maybe there's an event that illustrates a bit more about this. This is a grave, right? This is a cairn. Someone's buried here. I get the impression that this is a dead Coden, a buried Coden. They had a spear. They've dug it into the ground, right, or whatever, over the body. It's a memorial. I get that. I'm wondering if it's maybe talking about waiting sorrow. And mourning their loss, and it's a sort of a ceremony. No, it's not going to be that, is it? Whispers shared, slowly forgotten. I'm not sure what the dull and insecure element of it is talking about. And the leaf on the water. I mean, leaf on water, she escapes me. It's just talking about loss, really. Oh, okay. This is a poem about Stoic Alder's dead wife. Ah. So the Stoic Alder comes up here and drops this. Is this near where that bit of the story was? A weir is like a baffle which controls the height of a flow of water. Kind of like a dam, but smaller. Oh, I see. And Silken Weir is... Okay. Silken Weir is the name of Pokey's mum. I gotcha. This had been referenced before, I think. I gotcha. Alright, okay, cool. So let's grab the mastery point while we're at it. We got the POI. The POI is called the Mall Boneyards. Good stuff. Next book is Janthir Field Notes of a Troll Cave. Will this give us some detail about the weird side quest we finished before? The cryptid one? Believe it or not, guys, this is here at the start. How? How did I miss this? This is why these achievements are so important.
Anything to report, Roxy?
Warden, yes. We've got Astral ward at every lowland outpost. They've got 3 main establishments. The main village, Harvest Den, and 2 more farther west. They're hunting and fishing outposts.
How are they liking the added company?
Well enough. Anxious, but we're keeping our numbers low. This isn't a takeover, after all. Just an outreach mission.
We heard this dialogue in the last part.
Have the waypoints been deployed?
Yes.
I don't think I've registered this until now. Aren't they talking about multiple settlements? Aren't they alluding to the maps coming up in the next thing? The patches upcoming. Oh my god, look, I don't think we came in this room. I think we missed all of this because we didn't come in here, guys. I sat in the chair and I can't read from down here, apparently. Well, maybe we read this. Restricted area, Bava Nisos. Mabon and Isgaran have placed research restrictions on the Janthir Isles. We did read this before, but I'm going for it again. Research may commence from a distance, but given the present Massar influence and danger in the region, all travel to and from Janthir must be explicitly approved by Mabon. Travel to the Isles themselves is prohibited. While the Isles themselves are considered too dangerous for ward interference, the mainland regions within the territory are free for exploration so long as permission is granted and caution utilised. A handful of peaceful, smaller societies live along the mainland. I remember, we read this early. Apparently I never came over here though. I don't know how do we do that? The hat looks so good over there, by the way. One of the Lowlanders showed me to the local troll cave for an introduction between myself and the troll leader. Woken by Peace acted as my translator. I noticed a peculiar glow from the centre of the cave. Its iridescent shimmer immediately caught my eye. I didn't believe my initial instinct until I got closer and confirmed that instinct immediately. They'd somehow acquired a scale of glint. I'd seen one in person before, a gift to Isgarin from the Crystal Queen herself. Though for what purpose he's never said. A meeting between Isgarin and Glint. I mean, it's natural that it should have happened, right? The one I found in the Troll Cave is encompassed by branches. Perhaps it was here before they called this place home? Oh my god, what are they telling us? What are they telling us? Isgarin and Glint have had a chat. Glint probably told him a bit about her, you know, her plans to create the Exalted and fight the Elder Dragons and stuff. He probably said, you do your thing, I'll do mine. Right? Was he happy for us to be hunting the Elder Dragons? He was, right? Even though, yeah, because he had the World Spire. But, oh, I don't know what the story is. Did he want us to kill the Elder Dragons, even though it would put a marker on us in the mists? Surely he was fine, otherwise he would have interceded at some point. Surely. And look, he talked to Glint here. Glint gave him a scale. Are they suggesting that same scale ended up in the Troll Cave? I.e. they're suggesting that Isgarin was around here on Janthir. Which in itself is not necessarily particularly revelatory. We already know he had schemes with Mabon to shield the place away and that. That crystal is on the map. It's inside the Troll Cave. It's really cool. Was the Troll Cave... Have I been in the Troll Cave? That's where that other thing ended, right? The cryptid event ended. I want to buy more of these, by the way. Unlock more relics. I think it's super satisfying being able to unlock those and then see them on my legendary.
Remember, the being you're searching for looks something like this. If you see any, report back as soon as possible.
This guy in the guild just pinged Cryptis Possessed. Who's Cryptis Possessed? It's not me. White mantle badge, a chalice, and a Massart token. What is the chalice then? It's like they're telling us something there with that. I might have eaten a rock there. It's just the mastery point you interacted with where you complained it didn't have any lore text. Well, yeah, it does have lore text. Look, it's over here, a mile away. Stalwart Heart being Cryptis Possessed. He's not Cryptis Possessed. Oh, it was there for a second for me. It flickered. There's an active effect on Stalwart Heart flickering that they were Cryptis Possessed. So is that a hint? That's a really sneaky hint. Look, 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 look. Oh, it's their faces. You can see it. Sudden Cryptis possession every now and then. It references the Amnitas library event. Oh, was this NPC there in Amnitas? And some kind of creature latched on. And there's a Cryptis. Okay, a Cryptis has been stuck in her head ever since. That's cool. That is really cool, and I love the consistency of that. Wow, nice. That's really awesome, getting that out of the live chat. I would not have had that detail there. Now we can all enjoy it.
Seems to be in working order. I was expecting at
Next
least
up,
some damage.
Ink-Smudged
Warping
Letter.
it from such a distance.
Don't know why we didn't glide it from the northern bay, though. Would have been a smoother journey.
Okay.
We needed to maintain at least a...
Yeah, I have been in the Control Cave, yeah. If he had her blessing to focus on external threats while she, her scions, their champions took care of domestic matters, that would say a lot.
Pretty good, even for you. What'd you do, bribe them?
Okay, so there's a book here. This is a place, I confess, we've barely explored. I think we want to go upstairs. Let's see here. In one of these rooms. This room? Here we go. Ink-Smudged Letter. Here's a new one. So this is from someone called Dancing Mistral. Don't recognize that name. Here's a new one. Careless Whisper reckons the stranger she spied in the woods last week was long as 4 journeykin and tall as a lodge. She's a fibber, make no mistake. Remember what she said about 2 harvest backs about your old Paul's cabbages? But the council thinks it's still worth a good poke around the place. Claw's got us chasing shadows with the wolves gone funny and thick air rolling in. Won't be back down for another moon at least. You tell the cubs that Mormore's coming home with a extra batch of sticky honey cakes for Bearkin who behave themselves. Any sack fry in the lake yet? Miss you, dancing minstrel. Okay, so this is just a little report about them. The first Titans they spotted probably ended up in disaster. I doubt Mormore came back. Okay. Then we're looking for a curious artifact. This is it, the last one, a curious artifact. Which is in the bog, actually. It's where we fight the bog queen. Interesting. It's right there in that pond. Let's see. So the bog queen fight is low, which means I can just come down and sail there. Let's drop this here. It is weird that Isgarin told Mabon they needed to keep dragons alive, but still let the commander kill dragons. Yeah, I swear we heard. That was the quest I played, right? I swear he was saying the dragons are needed to regulate Tyria and shield it. Right? But maybe, the dragons are killing people. So maybe he was thinking, all right, look, we have to deal with it. He's sad about the death and the cycles and the destruction. I mean, look, his entire race has been wiped out. In part due to fallout, catalyzed by the previous Elder Dragon Rising. He hates them as much as we do. So he's looking for a long-term solution, and he's thinking his long-term solution will be, okay, Glint and co., you try and figure out what you can with the dragons, and I'll build the World Spire, and I'll watch for X, Y, and Z. I'm guessing that's the long and short of it. Yeah, the Mabon quest. He said they're like white blood cells fighting a virus. Yeah, I think he understands that they had a function, but he also wasn't happy about them and wanted them to get rid of them. I think both can be true. Upon closer inspection, this curious artifact appears to be a slim case used for storing scrolls. The missive within threatens to crumble at the slightest touch. Master Fanatic Bog Queen. This is from This is Rhea wrote this. Oh my god, is Rhea going to teach us who the Bog Queen is? My original theory is that Rhea was the Bog Queen, but we now know that's not true because her ghost is up there and the Queen's down there. Received yours of the 16th regarding shipment discrepancy. It is not your place to submit petty complaints. As stated before, the materiel provided is the freshest we can presently offer. You are welcome to transport your own stock from Gavril moving forwards, should you find your standards continue to exceed the means of our operation. Or, you may return south and inform the High Inquisitor personally that your talents prove too blunt to serve our cause with the tools you have been given. Have a blessed day. High Inquisitor, that's a White Mantle leader? Or is that High Inquisitor Manakaz? Was that his full title? Interesting. Oh, by the way, again at the end of Prophecies, it's quite curious. Don't forget that you have Confessor Dorian, who's not been mentioned at all here, really. And you would thought would have had a bit of a look in somewhere. But once he's dead, there's also the High Council. You kill them in Ember Bay. It seems like they panic, maybe, and they flee there or something. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see any of them get referenced in all of this. Well, there you go. So, that's those. Now, let's do our Titan research. Assist Farrar Baleseeker in researching the Titans by working with the Coden and the Astral Ward to see what information that they've gathered. We're going to start this by talking to prior researcher Farrar of Forager's Hunt on Janthir Sintry. Forager's Hunt is the first place here. Oh. Never quite got map comp, did we? But it's okay. There's like 2 POIs. We'll just start the next episode standing next to the final one. I'll take one step to the left and boom, it's done. Okay. So here's Farah. And this report, does their size align with age? Oh, what? Why a Titan gets big or small? I guess I've always assumed there were multiple spirits stuffed in there. which is why when they die, they split into other things that are animated. It's like the spirits, the souls breaking apart or something. And there's so, when they're introduced at the end of Prophecies, there's so much soul stuff going on. The soul batteries are breaking. Physical Bronze got fuck tons of souls, and as you kill him, you recharge the batteries. I don't know. Anyway, excuse me.
Give me just a moment.
This is called a Char doing this story with.
Reading this. Okay, I'm done.
Hello.
Oh, it's you. Gix told us you were involved here.
It's
still
me.
Weird to see the former Pact commander, hanging out with the Astral Ward. Name's Farah. I'm here with the Priory. We're lending a hand with the Titan investigation.
Okay.
The Alliance is trying to determine the scale of this threat.
Dumb Priory, I'm up for it.
To ring any global alarm bells. I was asked to draw any connections between these Titans and the ones that Tyria combated before. I'll be honest. I'm at a bit of a loss. With the storms rolling in every few hours, haven't made it out of camp much. And I need to head back to the archives to pull a few more records. If you're headed out to the Isle anyway, see what you can find. I'm in desperate need of some first-hand accounts.
Oh, I'm loving this so
you know
far.
How to get to the monastery, yeah? To Dermont? Let's regroup there.
Holy shit, are we going back? Wait, so we read the books here. Are we going to go back to the Dermont Priory? Oh, this is awesome. First of all, the Astral Ward are kind of annoying in the like. And look, if you're thinking about just like the setting is like, okay, who are the magical library research people? Who are the secretive spy people? Who's the secret society? Well, the Order of Whispers is one and the Dermont Priory is the other. But then Janthir, Secret of the Obscure comes in and bulldozes it all to the side and says, no, it's the Astral Ward. They're everything. They do, and it's like, so what I want to see is these factions interacting. I want to draw comparisons between them, you know, because like we just read, right? The Astral Ward have been doing research here for years and years and years. They needed permission from Mabon to go to the mainland areas. The actual Isles were off limits, but they've been researching. They've got details and stuff. The Dermont Priory, there should be a scene in this where Gix is like, "Fuck you guys, what?" You know, like obviously the Priory are immediately going to get people on it. So I loved it. I love that this is with the Priory and not with Isgarin's guys. This is super cool. Yeah, more influence from them. It's just like how in the Lion's Arch instance, we had this cool moment where Real was like, you're the secret. You're a secret society, and I knew nothing about you. And we're the Order of Whispers. We trade in information. Those moments to me are so good because they like forgive the bulldozing, if you will. Like, and not only that, but we might be going back to the actual Priory. 10 out of 10. They're talking about us as the Pact commander hanging out with these guys. Also a 10. Oh my god, I love it. And it's a Char researching Titans. Look at this smaller stake story as well. Here, they're being very candid. There's no like world-ending bells being run. Global alarm bells being run. It's a smaller stake story. And it's working, you know. That doesn't make me any less invested to do part 9 in a second, you know. Love it. Okay, so let's read the letters. Oh, didn't we already read all of these, though? The Char Disassociation. We already did this. While the Priory's been working with the Char Legions to restore several documents that long predate the peace agreements, we found some glaring gaps in our knowledge about Char culture following the slaying of the Titans and Vizier Gilbron. We do know that the Char were rattled as a people as they witnessed their gods being destroyed, but our understanding of the ripple effects that moment had on larger Char society is fascinating, void of knowledge. We found some references to that period labelled the Char Disassociation. It's easy to draw a line between that revelation and the culture of the Char today, who are largely empathetic and eager to participate in global dialogue, while other sub-factions still lean on these archaic ways. I never liked this bit here. We know that several of the Char quickly revolted against the shamans that demolished their society, and the Titans served as that catalyst. Enough tensions were in place, though, that the catalyst was well timed on its eruption, devastating for their spirituality, but modern Char leaders would argue that it was inevitable and critical in helping them find their footing post-foe fire. See, this bit doesn't even talk about the Destroyer bit. Again, we read all of this. I'm just skimming it here because I was thinking about that whole 10 years thing. Through our research, we've uncovered one of the first instances of an interaction between a Titan and a Char. Casey, Flamecaller. Yeah, and all that. Okay, wait, is that it? Okay, talk to Thunderborn. Do I participate? I guess. Bit of XP, right? Oh, that 8k hit there on the 2 coming out of stealth. That was nice. It's like with no might ramp up or anything. Might is one self might is one thing this build is totally lacking as well. I should have been thinking about, to be honest. Sorry. Yeah, a Forager's Hunt, he is here somewhere.
What happened to Guiding Star's expedition team? They were attacked not once, but twice. This isle is troubled.
Okay, also, hold on, let me see here.
Just by wolves, they told me. According to Guiding Star, one was enormous and rough.
Ugh, creatures on this island are never just rabbits or bees. They have to be beasts.
Okay, Born from Thunder is like... here? Something the map said... Oh, no. I see. It's this character here. Born from Thunder. Hello. How do? You looking for stories about the wee strangers, yeah? Nasty things. Alright, whatever you're willing to share.
My hunting party has killed 146 of them.
Wow.
Might be keeping count. Their march is ceaseless. Mindless, even. They don't act like a wolf or lowlander. They follow the big ones, that's for sure. But they're spread out, too. Made it as far as the mainland, you know. Kind of like they're the limbs of the big fellas. Like,
all of them. Well done,
I don't know, like they're following its orders without realizing. Best to kill them on sight. Whatever they're looking for or doing, probably better dead than crawling straight for the village. All I got so far. Hope there's something helpful for you there.
This feels like it could be a part of the main story, for sure. Someone said that already, and I totally agree. Already I'm getting that vibe. Okay, Rainless Meadow in the Festering Basin now. Which is over here. It's here. That's where we want to go. Did I read all the journals there before? Yeah, we read all of those.
I've received for following my call.
We definitely did read it. Well, unless one has appeared now that I've progressed further in the story. Oh, speaking of which, we never... That quest we just did, the Life in the Lowlands, that did not have us go to reflect on the Lion's Arch meeting. That didn't happen. So I guess I've got to go find that. It's not a part of it.
We could use some help.
It is me, the Wayfinder, and I'm sorry. I know you want help, but I'm sorry. I'm coming up here. We're in the middle of a lot of stuff. There's a great many stories here. Rainless Meadow. Oh, are you bugged? That is feeling bugged. I'll ask this guy in chat. Spamming F, he's not moving. Oh, no, we got him. Wow. Weird. Yeah, I'll give him advice. Hopefully we can figure that out. Want to know more about the attack, do you? I'll tell you what I can. Whatever you willing to share.
Shaken to my toes, I was. Greer is his name, you say?
Yeah.
Greer. That's the name of a rotbringer, it is. We were setting up camp, and whispers of wind sent me farther to the west to find clean water. Found the clearing first. Real swampy and gross. The smell curled the fur on my nose. I heard him before I saw him. Sounded like a tree was gonna fall. Ducked into a small cave before he could see. Seemed worn, like he'd just crawled out of a fight that he wasn't gonna win. Something glowing peeked out behind his armor. Kinda looked like honey, but not quite. He started pulling old lumber toward himself to cover it back up.
Yeah, look, they're using the
Left
environment.
while he was distracted, I did. Came right back here. Still shaking it off.
That's awesome. So in Prophecies and the Titan Quest at the end, the first Titans you see look like lava and they're in the Fire Island chain. Then when you're in the Shiver Peaks, they look different. They look snowy. When you're in the Maguma Jungle, they look... So there's this variation. They're able to morph how they look, it seems. But you never actually see the moment of them changing their appearance. Here, it looks like for the first time they're explaining a bit of that the Titans are grabbing shit from the environment. They're propping themselves up with the stuff in the area. And they're doing it to hide some ooze? Kind of look like honey. Something glowing, peeking out of his armor. Kind of look like honey, but not quite. I love that the Coden would reference honey. That's their point of reference. That's awesome. Okay. Right, next we're going over here to this vista. Take in the landscape. Oh, we're just gonna watch the vista. This feels like a main story step that they pushed off to the side. Why though? Why? I feel like they must have people QA testing it who are saying it's too long. I need it to be short. I'm bored. No, more, like I don't get it. Why is this a side thing? I mean, I think we're doing it at the perfect time, by the way. Look, I know there's this thing of like, but it's all standing around listening to dialogue. You're in the main story. You're not raiding. You're in the main story. At some point, you have to be unapologetic about what it is you're doing. Like, there was a really good comment of a guy that wanted to talk about, like, you know, what Guild Wars is supposed to be in the MMO landscape and what it tells its players and what its focus is and stuff. And I didn't platform it because, you know, we're in a story playthrough and stuff here and it's a big conversation. But, you know, they basically said, you know, FF14 is unapologetic about telling a big, long story and giving you a story. And that's right, just do it. Do what you got to do to tell the good story. I don't know. Like, that game is just wandering around tapping F on things, but there's a good payoff to it.
That's not good. Should probably cut those elementals down before they take their little party straight to camp.
Let's kill this one here. That one almost feels like a centaur. Of course, I've just worked myself up into a tizzy for no reason there. I've imagined that their QA testers tell them that they're bored and they shouldn't do this. Right, here we go. Oh, hi, Kerry. I wish we had dungeons a part of the story like in 14. You miss Guild Wars 2 dungeons. Me too. I mean, I've said that a million times. I totally agree. If there was more wiggle room in the budget and the mini X-Packs could get bigger and all that kind of stuff, dungeons as a part of the main story, not necessarily as repeatable endgame and all that. I mean, it's a problem because Guild Wars doesn't have a roulette system and all that shit. But, hell yeah. I mean, they're like my favourite moments of that game. Alright, talk to Branwen in the Stricken Plains region.
There, is that bloodstone?
The Stricken Plains.
Sure smells like it. Camp's just around the corner.
By this tree. Not that tree. There's a lot of weird red-looking trees. We're going to this tree. I don't really remember exploring this area or being on that area of the island very much, so it's quite cool that the story is taking us back in. You're not against some of this stuff being optional. You hate how the game doesn't really guide you to the best side quest. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's multiple solutions to any problem. And yes, part of it is, okay, you can bomb it all in on the main storyline. And that's sort of my instinct.
Area looks
but
clear. No.
Another thing is, yeah, just if there's good telegraphing and incentive for going off the beaten path and doing the side stuff. But to me, I feel like, you know, having gone through Season 2 and Heart of Thorns, right? Heart of Thorns release, I think, was a very big moment for me that showed the telegraphing and the incentives in Guild Wars as to what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to enjoy is all over the place. Heart of Thorns has quite a lot of good stuff and quite a lot of good setting exploration. But you have to be playing the metas. Yet the overwhelming review, even though Mastery's kind of forced you to be in the open world, the overwhelming perception of Heart of Thorns and this comes from me too, is that it's too small and it's tiny and it's, you know, it doesn't. But there is a lot of stuff. It's just, what do we consider to be? I don't know. I think I'm explaining myself very poorly here, but I think that really what they should do is bulk out the main thing that everyone's going to be going through regardless. And yeah, maybe taking things out of achievements, putting in the story journal and all that stuff. That they're also ideas, of course. I'm not arguing every single side quest, side achievement should be in the main thing, obviously. But this goes straight in, doesn't it? Oh, you're helping the Priory researchers? Of course. What can I help you with? Whatever you wanted to share.
Decima. That's what she calls herself? Fascinating. I haven't seen her with my own eyes, but I have heard her. I thought it was just the storm. Low rumbles of thunder, sometimes coming to a crescendo, but then they seemed reactive.
Who is this voice
When we were
actress?
successful in fighting them away from camp, the sounds grew more sedate.
She's
The
amazing.
more victorious, the louder they became. I'm confident that they're communicating. I'm attempting to decipher their rumblings, but no luck yet. The greatest storms from the northwestern peak often drown them out. Here, I'll send you with some of my notes. The Priory is more than welcome to them.
There you go. Collaboration there with the Astral Ward and the Priory. Thank you. Dude, she sounded awesome. Any revelations there? I love this storm connection thing. They're communicating through the storm? No. I'm attempting to decipher their rumblings. No luck just yet. The greater storms from the northwestern peak have often drowned them out. Wow. So wait, are we going back now? No, we're going to take in the stormy landscape at the stricken plains now. There's also something awkward about this, you know, tabbing out to Wiki each time. Not that you have to play it this way. There, it's this one here. It's an amazing storytelling voice. It is, isn't it? I thought it was. You like game bestiaries? Yeah, I was messing with an FF14 add-on the other day. There's like this thing called the Monster Decks. And you're supposed to be able to target and it'll give you an in-game bestiary. But it was broken and it didn't work at all. So I was really disappointed in that. I've always loved the idea of one in this game. What's this? Oh my god, WP, check Discord now. Really? Okay, well I'll do it while we watch the Vista. Oh my god, no way! Oh my god. Alright, I'll put that on screen. That's amazing. Oh, that might have frozen on OBS. Sorry everyone, I was taking a screenshot. We have the fan art. We have the fan art that I requested earlier. That's insane. So this is from Woosh. Hold on. We were reading the Snargle thing, obviously, and the licking, and yeah. Oh my god, so good. You did that fast! Oh, look at its tongue. Wow. What was that called? A sting to die for or something? The sting of love? The sting of... Well, there you go. That's the front cover, I would say. That's amazing. That was far too quick. Yeah, wow. Thank you for that warning, guys. I would have missed that. I can't believe that. Wow, I would have put it in the next episode, to be honest. Wow. That might be the thumbnail of the next episode. Jesus Christ. Also, that will go in my fan art folder forevermore. Maybe appear on a slideshow at some point. Maybe in the 14 series. Incredible. The legs of the bee, look, I've still got it on my other monitor, even though you guys can't see it at the moment. Look really good. Okay, talk to Paler at the Bloodstone research camp. Well, I'm very impressed with the speed of that. That's insane. Okay. Alright, we're going to the crater. Could be a revelation on this. Y'all got any of them revelations? Alright. Sorry, bro. It's amazing, but it also makes you extremely uncomfortable. Yeah, it's so weird. I was talking in the other stream about, like, games where you can actually play as a bee, you know? You know, do you want to be a cat boy? Do you want to be a bunny boy? Do you want to be, you know, the games have got you covered. But what if I want to be a bee? What about my truth, you know? My bee truth. I need a game for that. It's funny, my dream MMO project thing is it's side-scrolling and it's largely 2D. And I think actually, depending on the art style, you could do a lot of different weird races. You know, like imagine a game like MapleStory. You could have a playable bee race in MapleStory, depending on how you function with the armor and stuff. You could do it. Oh, I'm going the wrong way actually. We're far too far north. Well, no, not that far. There's a relic hunt. My contribution is 0. I'd love to see the meta. We still haven't beaten the meta. Alright, Pela. It's an Asura. More with the Astral Ward. If you're headed into the explosion zone, keep an eye out. Wouldn't want to be stuck in there when the next storm rolls in. What have you learned?
Spawn and Titan alike. They're drawn to the Bloodstone like it's a bowl of punch at a crew party. The storm rolls in. The Titans feed off of the shards while we keep ourselves alive. Rinse and repeat. It's a war of attrition. The little ones don't seem to care much for the Bloodstone. Only the progenitors.
The progenitors.
Well, I have noticed something odd. No matter how successful the Titans are in their feeding, they regenerate with rest. I don't want to know what happens if they consume everything on the Isle. They'd probably be looking at another Bloodstone fen.
Oh, that line's pretty instructive, isn't it? That really paints it as... It's funny, here on Janthir Century, most of the dialogue, I think, has been talking about this like the Bloodstone hasn't really been eaten or hasn't been finished off. Like there's a lot of the Bloodstone left. That scene before with all the ghosts really felt like they thought it was intact. I mean, the commander did explicitly say, this thing's fucked, just like Bloodstone Fen, right? I mean, look at it! There's still enough power here? If the Titans are eating to do another there's still enough power. Like, I'm not on mud at the moment then. I'm on Bloodstone at the moment. By the way, the ambient visuals, I just want to say, again, I feel so bad about this, but look. Look at that. Look at the difference. We should have been seeing the whole time. Sorry. Alright, well, there you go. But what else did we learn? The little ones aren't really looking for magic. With the Elder Dragons, their minions, big and small, would feast and consume and wanted magic. Here, there's a pretty clear difference. Only the big guys, the progenitors, the ones that spawn the little ones, they are the ones that are interested in eating. The others, they're just kind of wandering around or wreaking havoc. So that, by the way, that suggestion from Pela there, I don't know what happens if they eat everything, kind of suggests they didn't eat the old stuff. Doesn't it? Kind of, in a roundabout way. So it does sort of suggest that whatever ate the original stuff was not a Titan. Okay, because, yeah, let's be clear. There's kind of an obvious idea for where this story's going, which is there's a big, big Titan that ate that Bloodstone. I'm less captivated about that than I am about the idea that it was something else, you know. Something new. Lord Odrin or some shit, I don't know.
How familiar are your people with the Isles? The Bearkin seem as anxious as my ward.
Our knowledge is almost as shadowed as your own. We've traveled here from time to time, but it's always been dangerous. For a long while, this place was said to house 1,000 nightmares. No crop or hunt is worth that.
Well,
it might still.
Yeah, indeed, and I think we've seen that it does. Wait, Buck Bumble? I don't remember you ever talking to me about Buck Bumble. Of Mists and Meta is in... of Mists and Monsters, Meta is in 15 minutes. Okay, we might be able to... Oh, but main story? I really feel like every single episode needs a bit of main story progress. So I'm probably going to skip that meta because it lines up badly. 15 minutes, we're going to be done with this. Okay. Oh, you dickhead. Guess where we're supposed to be right now? Back over here. I mean, it's not that bad. We can skimmer along the river. It's okay. Well, that's weird. I just caught myself wondering if they do another mini X pack that upgrades old mounts. If they do something with this one.
Probably fallout from some
I feel like the roller beetle is
experiment.
the next candidate.
And they don't look friendly. I'll take them out so no one gets hurt.
I like the way that the commander's muttering to herself about, you know, oh, I got to deal with this, I'll take this out. You know, it really does seem like a seasoned hero and adventurer. Oh, here we are, look. A nice excuse to watch this vista again with the graphics set up properly this time. Maybe it wasn't a full explosion here compared to Bloodfen. Maybe this was just a small containment breach, so to say. Yeah, my gut is that it was either an accident that they managed to deal with during the Titan crisis, and which got Manukaz killed, or there was something much more structured that went on to do with Rhea, or that guy that the twins killed. Oh my god, are you serious? That was insane. I dared to open my map, and when I looked back, I was dead. Okay. And then so finally with Titan, well, not finally. Here we go, yeah. Oh, we're going back to the Dermot Priory. Nice. Take all your gathered information to the Dermot Priory Library. What is this? Lay energy builder. Yes, can you please... I'm supposed to walk into one of the things. So we have to wait for that to time out now. Thank God they put timeouts on this stuff. People get stuck in combat forever and can't do anything. Right. Let me just verify on Wiki that this is actually what we want to do. It so is. Has this character even been to the Dermot Priory? Also, it occurs to me that if I was a Dermot Priory player, they might have... what's the fastest route here? Where are we? Oh my lord, where are we? This is probably the fastest route. We might have had a different intro. Hey, a donation, thank you! Oggy the man, thanks for all the great content, keep up, thank you, dude! What is SEK? Lots of people donating SEK. Thank you. I just walked back into Lion's Arch because I was looking at the other monitor there. My bad. Well, it looks like we've done the daily, by the way, again, accidentally. What's that Wizard Vault working out? There was a collection of Secrets of the Obscure where you return to the historian in the Priory. Was there? I don't know if I did that. Oh, we didn't do daily, no, but we did do... Oh, collect a set of armour, the Titanplate or the Woad or the Polychromatic. Defeat 1,000 enemies using a spear I've done now. By the way, that gives us 1,000 points. I'm actually about to cap out. So look, there is another side quest. I guess I'll just buy it now. Remember when the expansion came out, the Falling Star quest license? Acquiring this item unlocks a quest from the Wizard's Vault to acquire the Falling Star Spear and the Meteor Wielder's Glove. So there we go. So this is a new area in the UI. Okay, check it out. Side stories, the Wizard's Vault side stories. Look. So there's this new thing here, the Falling Star, Vault Dispatch, Meteor Wielder. They're all Falling Star. So it's a new initiative from ArenaNet, it looks like. And I think this is pretty good, actually. This is less buried than all the other achievement stories. Right? Because everyone's going to be looking at the Wizard's Vault and what's available. So they're all going to get guided to it. And it's really useful in that way as well, because it conditions the player base to expect this kind of content in achievements. Oh my god, the sharpening looks so good when you're in rocky areas. It just fits, you know. So yeah, that is another side quest, and it's something I'd like to do. Not today, obviously, but as we move forwards. It's Swedish krona. Okay, I gotcha. And that's like 20 bucks. Well, oh, so is it 1/10? Basically, I can think of it that way. 20 bucks is no small amount of money. Thank you very much. The absolute top tier that I would... Anyone that goes to do this on Patreon, I think is 20. Is 20. It might be 25. But that's like dream level. Holy shit, I'm really happy if anyone is on that level on Patreon. It's weird as well, because since I set that up like a long time ago now, there's like a lot of inflation and shit, and I don't know whether I should readjust those. But anyway, yeah, thank you. That's amazing, man. Just to get that on a random stream instead of maybe at the end of a month is amazing. Thank you. Okay, what do we got? We are going right in there. Why is it not playing the Dermot Priory music? Oh, this is unacceptable. No, 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 no. Unacceptable. Oh, what the fuck? What? No! Here we go. No, 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 before the music kicks on. That's weird. I think because I never had... They don't expect me to enter from here. I'm going to try that again. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, but it's going too long, WP. No, no, no. This is worth it. This music's amazing. Okay, 10 Swedish krona is worth $1. Oh my god, guys. It's not happening. They're not doing it for us. I'm still going back to that waypoint for some reason. We could set the music interval to low, maybe. Or maybe it's because the nav mesh is weird up there. So I'll try it one final time standing down here in the hopes that it actually places me there. No, I don't know what to say. What a shamey shame. The Dermot Priory music's awesome. You can listen to it off screen. I don't know why it's putting me there. That's what I'm saying. The sharpening I'm using at the moment is it's not CAS. It's not the NVIDIA sharpener. Like, look at the ground here. And it wasn't too bad with the shimmer. It was Quint Sharp. DLC. Something about it just feels like it works really well in Guild Wars. Okay. Oh, wait. We're not just going to the archive. We're not just going to the Priory. We're going into the archives. No, really? Oh, so the music didn't matter anyway because we were going into an instance. Hold on. There's no way that they've got data. Do you know how happy it would make me in a mini X-Pack to be doing this in like main story and like chatting to Ogden and Gix and stuff again? Why do I hear the underwater sound effects right now? Can you guys hear that? It thinks we're underwater. I think it's environment volume. I can definitely hear the underwater thing right now. Oh, wait. Is it because my spear? Oh my god. Was that always the case? The whole expansion, was that the case? That when I had the spear out, it was doing that? But look at the fabric as well.
Commander, over here.
Holy okay, we're not going into the special archives, but still. Hello.
Thanks for making it all the way out here. I know you're at least a little busy saving the Northern Hemisphere. I see you did a lot of research. Good work. Great work, even. A couple of your friends sent along some more documentation, too. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, let's see. So what, we'll read all of these notes? Are you serious? Update yourself on the new notes you've collected about the Titans. So this was what Branwen said. Interviewee, Branwen. Location, Storm Research Camp. Observations, communication. Fascinating observations from one of the Astral Ward scouts. While most of her time in Janthir has been spent conducting research in camp, she's witnessed something quite curious between the mist storms that roll in and out of the bay. As we now know, whenever the storms are active, Greer and Decima will crawl from their dens in an attempt to siphon any active bloodstones. Following these frenzies, Branwen has observed patterns of thunder that correlate with the Titans' success in their feeding. When they're victorious, the storms are boisterous, but when the Lowlanders and the Astral Ward are able to push the Titans back, the storm that follows is weaker. Oh, this is like when you beat Tequatl, the beach is clean, but when you fail to beat Tequatl, the beach is full of fish heads and it's all rotted and nasty in the area. Basically, there's a bit of lore about that meta mechanic for this one. Branwen suggests that they're in constant communication, and I concur. So they're kind of hivey, right? Paler. Bloodstone Research Camp, thirst for the Bloodstone. Paler, another member of the Astral Ward, stationed at one of the Bloodstone Research Camps, confirmed that while many of us suspected the Titans feast on Bloodstone... Sorry. confirmed what many of us suspected. The Titans feast on Bloodstone. Looking back, all the information that we've collected to date, I'm very happy with our research. In summary, our modern Titan threat is at least a little different from those we encountered before. This is likely because Greer and Decima's growth has gone uninterrupted in the Isles for an undetermined amount of time. The Bloodstone may be another factor in this growth, as well as the other mist energies that are present in the area. The Titans have grown so large that they've developed the ability to produce spawn. Wow, so all the ones that came out of the gate in Guild Wars 1, Abaddon had made them big as well. They do match our records in one very notable way, and that's their evolutionary talent for blending in with their environment. Greer favours the swamps of Janthir Sindri, while Decima is evolved into a conduit for storms. Also, they both look different, and they're both in the opposite edges of the map, so they both have a slightly different appearance. That's cool. Gix. Oh shit, a letter from Lahir. 2 Gix. Gix, I'm glad your tour of our library and archive was beneficial. Oh, the tours happen now. I wonder how Gix would react. Well, how does he react? Let's see. It's a joy bringing more curious eyes into our halls. I prodded the old curator into giving me a little more information on the Foundry. Did we read this already? This is feeling very familiar. On the Foundry of Failed Creations, per your request. He was a little shy about sharing too much detail. But I have confirmed a few of your thoughts. We have read this. So long as the Soul Flame at the pit of the Foundry is still lit, new Titans can be forged. Given our visitors, Isgarin assumes that the Foundry has either remained active or was recently relit. Certainly the exterior realms are brimming with souls following the Dragon Cycle and Cryptus, but perhaps we'll focus on the Foundry while you focus on the Titans. Please let me know if you need anything else. It's weird as well, isn't it? Because Abaddon has the Foundry. You got the Realm of Torment, and within it is the Domain of Anguish. That's where the Foundry was. It's in the Realm of Torment. The Realm of Torment is Abaddon's prison. The Realm of Torment got taken over by Cormyr. When Abaddon's dead, or whatever, Cormyr is Abaddon, right? She has the realm. She calls it the Redeemed Realm. There's the library there. You visit it in Path of Fire. So Cormyr would have known about the Foundry. We don't see it in the library instance or anything. It's obviously miles away. We don't go to the Domain of Anguish. Surely Cormyr, plus the Forgotten, will have cleaned that shit up. Surely. But then, since POF, she's left. So I'm thinking someone snuck in and relit it. I don't think it can possibly be still lit from Abaddon's time. It will have gone out and someone will have reignited it. Who, though, and why? Would have happened after POF. Probably concurrent with, like, the Desmina stuff. While Desmina's doing that in the Underworld, that was happening there. You think it could be a forge? Wait, what's this in the comments here? Sorry, I'm missing a lot. Gix to Narcisse, you fern-faced fathead. You remind me of another Sylvari doofus, Siren. Oh, I miss her positivity. Oh, there was a reference to Siren. That's amazing. Where was that? In Secrets of the Obscure or Janthir Wilds? What's interesting is that Balthazar's Forge was sending forged remnants to Tyria from the Realm of Torment via the Gate of Torment in the Desolation. That's true, yeah. The meta in the Desolation had forged there. So, yeah, there could have been forged that relit the flame. Would Balthazar have done that just to be a prick? I don't know. I don't know where that's leading, really. WP, not sure if you've seen it. Directly south of the Mastery Point, south of Harvest Plots in Lowlands Shore, there's a small campfire. You can listen to a story about how Waiting Sorry left the Codan. I will try to get to that, I promise. Can you leave that as an actual YouTube comment and we can look to squeeze that into the next episode? I know, thanks, man. Continuing his membership. 29 months, dude. You got the legendary tag and everything. It's amazing. Right. Interview with Rainless Meadow. This was a first-hand account of a progenitor titan. Rainless Meadow was still shaken from her encounter with Greer at the time of her interview. Another Lowlander, Whispers of Wind, sent the young Codan into the woods to scout while they were establishing a foothold in the ruins of Gavril. Meadow went first west to get clean water. Upon entering the westernmost swamp, she heard the titan Greer rise from his den. Meadow was able to duck into a small cave before he could identify her. Based on her description of the beast, Greer is significantly larger than any titan we've encountered on record, although our records may be sparse in that regard. Just as it feels like ArenaNet are leaving a gap for a mega titan in Bavanissos or something. Just as we've never witnessed their spawn, the size of these creatures makes me wonder if these specific titans have, I'm not sure, perhaps they've tapped into a well of power that they didn't have access to before. Or, given the secluded nature of Janthir, maybe their development has been largely uninterrupted. It's challenging to draw that connection, however, without knowing how long they've been present. Yeah. And Mabon knew about them and did nothing and just... I mean, Mabon can't have known, and Isgarin can't have known. They must have sealed it off for another reason. And then this is the Chard's Disassociation, which we've read. And they're giving me another opportunity to read it. The Aged Leather Journal. This is really good from ArenaNet here. Nice recap about the Titans. Adventure log from Master Scout Kira. The jungle is brimming with those creatures. Demonic, smelly, revolting, just gross. They're ruining this forest. I've made it a habit of killing them on sight just to preserve the jungle, but they return every morning. We read this one before. Not only are they invasives, they're clearly very adaptive. I don't envy a lesser hunter trying to take one down, but I worry about what might happen if one crawled into a volcano or a geyser. We saw the volcano concept in the original. Born from Thunder's hunting party has killed quite a few of the Titan spawn, and they've maintained a growing tally of their kill count, making his entourage a critical resource in our investigation. He suspects the spawn are acting as limbs to the progenitors. Yeah, which we know. Okay, have I missed a thing? Speak to her again?
These
there we go.
are definitely Titans. Incredible. Not that I doubted it, but skepticism is critical, especially with creatures that like to roleplay as gods. I'm former Flame Legion, so I guess I'm a bit invested in making sure we squash
Wow, there
this.
you go, look.
But the research opportunity is also big.
It's an Ephraim type character.
We don't have every answer, but I feel like we're a lot closer to some sort of understanding. Thanks for taking the time. I know you've got a lot on your hands. Feel free to look everything over before heading out. I might be able to answer a few of your questions myself. Otherwise, I'll see you back in Janthir.
Oh, yeah, I know with the 5 gift subs. Thank you, man. Thank you. Some random people just got memberships. You guys might want to alt tab and have a look. Well, there you go. Awesome. So they did have a Flame Legion character reflecting on the Titans. We're closer to some sort of understanding. Oh, really good. This is fantastic. They took me back to Corteria. They gave me a good room where we get to sum everything up. Love it. Okay, guys. I think it's time now to do Against the Wall. This is possibly a giant boss fight. Oh. That even looks really good, actually. Just looking through there. Join your allies at the mountain pass leading to the sulphurous springs. And we should just have... That was weird. My instinct was to go left there. I know where the springs are. I don't see a dot, but that's probably because we're in an instance there. Imagine if she's Gaheron's daughter or sister. Oh, Gaheron's such an interesting part of all this as well. I think he's done, though. I don't think there's really anything else to say about him. Oh, the meta is up on this map, but there's no commanders. So I'm going to just gloss over that. Next time, guys, with the meta. Next time. Here we go. Against the Wall.
You've an advantage over me, son. What should I expect? Fighting a Titan?
Might and power. The strangers are unlike anything we faced. No beast from the mountain compares.
Are we gonna fight a
Never
sulphur
mind
one?
how they perform together. Decima and Greer are more calculated than I've come to
It's
expect.
gonna be a golden titan.
But at 6, we do outnumber them.
After you, Wayfinder.
Tyria deserves to fall asleep without fear.
Okay. 6? Are we 6? This is cool, though. This is our group, really. This is the cast of this X-Pack. Right, let's move on in. Waiting Sorrow said very little there. But she suggested she... No, shut me up. She didn't say very little. She actually said something quite interesting. They're more calculated than what she's come to expect of their kind. What do you expect of a Titan?
Bessemer. They slither toward us with venom on fang. Watch yourself.
Oh, it's going to be Greer and Decima
All
together.
I see is another opportunity to turn breathing flesh to paste. I welcome them.
Oh, I love these two. I really think these are cool.
What are they?
They're siphoning energy from the Bloodstone. Attack Decima while Greer is out of reach.
This is like a third part of the meta almost, right? This corner also has a fragment. Defeat Decima the Stormsinger. Drive Decima back from guarding the Bloodstone. Okay. I have no idea what to dodge here. Alright, let's just see. It looks like we're in a just do damage phase for now. So let's just do damage. Weakness, I'll cleanse it with the 4. We have the line. Oh, is it literally the same as the meta? It's very efficient for ArenaNet to do the final boss of the story as the meta. And I think it's fine. It might even allow them to tune the meta up a bit because everyone's sort of had a chance to learn. I like this. So we have droppable flak there. And that looked like that was a new telegraph as well, by the way. On the floor.
Pull it off with your journey kit.
Okay. Sorry, I stepped away from that there and got that hit. Actually, is there any need for me to protect these? I guess so, actually. Harpoon Decima with your Warclaw's chain pull.
Commander, think you can trip her up on your Warclaw?
Yeah. Did we just spin? Yeah, the reason I asked that was because... Oh no, we're going to go around rocks again on this one. Oh, I love the little sound effect every time you hit one. The ching-ching of the chain. The reason I asked that was because there's no failure states in story steps. So if I don't do the green line, what happens, right? Like, you can't fail anyway. But then I thought, oh, they'll just flip into targets to hit. And it will just make it more annoying until I kill them. So I should do it.
There she is. Now, with all the strength you can muster.
Oh my god, she's so low already. What the fuck? The Ranger Spear's really grown on me as I've gone along, and I totally get... I get that feeling of it having quite a long cooldown.
Back. You'll be turned to scream if your willfulness
oh, he's up there.
legs before your mind can catch up.
You sounded a bit like Bangar there.
Wayfinder, use the Heart of the Obscure, just like before.
Why don't you use it? Teach me about it. She's happy for me to have it. Do you have more hearts? I hope you don't. It's like supposed to be super OP, right? Or unique. Let me put it that way. The Bloodstone is about to release dangerous magic.
The Bloodstone is about to surge. Come to me.
Here we go. Look here, I like the floor.
We gotta keep pushing while they're weak.
I will compensate for the delusion of my kin. Your bloodstone ripples through my every essence.
Interesting. He says it in quotes. Bloodstone in quotes. He'll compensate for the delusion of his kin, as in, my sister just fucked up, so I guess I'll step up. Alright, and yeah, he's so cool. I really like his design, like the tree design. He is really cool. He's big, he's kind of crab-like, kind of spidery. This was like so well done for me. I know it's a bit nuts to say, but I wish he was a little bit bigger. But aside from that, and I know it's like, well, how goddamn big do you want these things to be? We can zoom the camera out a lot these days. Especially when he raises his arm up there. He just looks great, doesn't he?
There's our opening. Use your Warclaw to rip his armor
And this
away.
mechanic's alright, actually. So we harpoon.
You know what to do, Commander. Bring him down.
Oh my god, he looks like Maokai, doesn't he? That's what he looks like. He's Maokai. Kind of. Oh, it's there. Look, I wrapped it around an extra tree. Apparently I I got an achievement for doing something within a time limit there, but I've been doing this very leisurely. I mean, Jesus, I've had a leisurely pace here. But okay, I mean, I'll take it. Thank you. Oh, I fucked that up.
The Horde of the Obscure! Wayfinder, use
Alright,
it
let's
now!
blow it up. By the design of the artwork, you thought it'd be bigger. Well, look, there's always a difference. Oh, do I hit it first? Between what you see in concept art and what the true lore is versus what the game engine can render. Just do yourself a favor and learn to accept that. You have to suspend your disbelief. Obviously, we can nitpick a bit, and I can, we can say let's try and make it a bit bigger or whatever. But ultimately, if you want to imagine this guy's the size of a, I'm not gonna say a mountain, but a lot bigger.
Behind me, everyone!
There's nothing wrong with that.
Their emotional fortifications will end us if we don't rip that hope directly from their coiled fingers.
More emotional fortifications.
Together, we'll crush them beneath us, pull their bodies through the mist until nothing remains but essence and memory.
This is cool.
Run, pause from here. Are we safe?
Yes, Wayfinder, take these. Waiting sorrow and sprout them together. They'll grow fast.
Magic.
Oh, this is a repeat of before.
Please, Father, trust me.
This is just like before, where last time he felt betrayed, realizing these were magic, right? It was a part of the big, oh, Waiting Sorrow's a badass mage reveal. But this time we're much happier about it. That. Oh shit, did I fuck that up? That emotion connection is interesting. Because isn't there a whole thing about the secret, the heart of the obscure is kind of just tapping into people's, like, tapping into the emotion of the bloodstone? But what? I mean, I don't know. Yes. Get a stun break. So happy I put double stun break on this bar. I think if I did another open world build series, I would probably put double stun breaks on all of them. Or, something very easy to access it.
Weavers, see, attack now while there's an opening.
But specifically with Greer, there's an opening. Okay. Let's get my Warclaw. I've also really enjoyed having a pet Warclaw in the Warclaw story. It really feels like I can mount him and then he'll fight alongside me, like Chocobo style. I'm gonna wait with the 4 here. There's the last button, just in case weakness.
I'll strike your cities
Well, we
next.
phase him. I'll strike your cities next. Nice.
Yes, I'll set them up. You distract the Titans.
Okay. One special action. Well, this one's a lot easier than planting the seeds. So the one that's kind of wood-like, we're destroying with the seeds. The storm one, we're destroying with the lightning.
No!
No!
Decima looks a lot more like a GW1. That's like the ambery honey, right? It's not lava. It's like... I mean, what is it? Is the amber stuff on Greer as well? I didn't really look. Oh, it is. It's just underneath the wood a bit. It's just hidden under the wood a bit there. Oh, well, don't... Ow, it glanced. That's annoying. Need some range spears. Spear attack.
Tricks only speed your march to death.
Oh, do we have any more sprouts?
We do. Plenty. Here.
I like the way he says plenty, just in case I'm a player that's going to fail this over and over and over and over again. He technically, I assume, has an infinite supply. They're calling it Titan Amber. Yes, the royal sound effects are cool. Connection to Amber in Cantha. The ambergris from fishing. Titan Ambergris, new endgame currency. Am I right, guys? Poor Greer. I feel like things are lining up a lot better for me when fighting him. Should have rampaged with one earlier. It's kind of a clunky timing because really I want to pet swap straight away.
Decima, be more thoughtful with your energy.
There's a big corrupt.
Your hesitation will get us killed.
Oh, he's taking zeros. Okay.
They're
Do
on
this
the
bit.
back foot. Just a few more lightning rods and we'll overwhelm them.
Doing it a little bit too fast for it to recharge. Okay. I'm going straight to maces to get rid of this. This is just awfully annoying. Oh, it's back. It's okay. So is my mace 4. So basically, don't stand in the very middle of it. I think that AoE is applying a weakness proc straight away. I think that's what's putting it on.
To me, Godspawn, do not let your stubbornness and lust for dominion
Who?
win.
Ura? Godspawn?
Behind me.
Another.
A third one? Wait.
Decima, come.
Oh shit.
Yes, Godspawn.
Hold on, are these two basically just...
Don't let them escape. Greer and Decima are weak.
Are these two basically just fragments of a bigger one this whole time? That's a cool idea. I didn't even think that that might be the case. Hold on, there's another one? Don't let them get away. Godspawn? Hello? I hear. Oh.
I think not. But spill no tear. Your bravery is excellent.
Oh, this is cool as fuck. Where is she speaking from?
Who are you?
Don't say you are the land.
All Godspawn. But I am Ura. And I am far stronger than my stock.
The entire island isn't a Titan, is it?
I've looked foolish in the eye. I see none behind yours. Retreat, and so shall we.
Hey?
Commander, orders?
Be wise.
I've looked foolish in the eye.
Stand down. We stand down.
No! We can defeat them! With two nearing death, what's another going to cost us?
Poised arrow. No. That cost could be our lives.
Good. Greer, Decima, come.
I like how Decima is still standing there. Is it bugged? Should she have ran off? Oh no, there we go. Whoa, whoa. There's so much here. What? Okay, I guess the first line I really want to jump on is I've looked foolish in the eye. I see none behind yours. They're so weird the way they speak. Ura. Love the voice. I'm guessing, okay, it's either I've looked my enemy in the eye and I call my enemy the foolish or some shit, I don't know. Or we're talking about the Eye of Janthir. But then I see none behind yours? And why is the commander just agreeing? Usually we are the commander, so if the commander's given some vision or manipulated in some way, we experience that too. But here, and remember, the Eye of Janthir was giving visions. I don't know what the fuck, I've gone all over the place. I don't know, this is really crazy. It's more like looking death in the eye. I'm thinking too hard. WP when there's figurative language. No, okay, look, your comprehension is very poor. I said at the start this could just be figurative, but we can look at it in another. I'm trying to express multiple things that it could be. She's saying the commander isn't foolish. It's so weirdly phrased, guys. I've looked foolish in the eye. I see none behind yours. I've seen none foolish behind your eyes. It's not just... It's weird. So yeah, I'm open to the possibility on first glance that it's also about something else. And in a Let's Play, I'll explain it. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we've got. And the commander is convinced.
A third Titan.
We need to get out of here, now! This could be a trick.
We need to chase them. Greer and Decima are weak. We can do it.
We know nothing about Ura. We need to retreat.
Trust me, kid. I want to rip their legs off and watch those things writhe. But I'm tired. Don't know if I'll last long.
We'll regroup and plan our next attack. We all need rest.
I'll take you back to the village. Our minds are thick with fog. It's not time to make decisions. We rest. Pokey.
Yeah.
Yeah, my instinct this entire time is that it's just figurative language. But at the same time, it is so clunkily written. And we are on the Isles of Janthir. I've got to mention the eye. But yeah, basically the idea is, look, I've met a lot of idiots. You're not one. You definitely don't want to follow this. Amazing. So there is another one. We'll take our plan. Okay. And Waiting Sorry says we know nothing about Ura. So we need to retreat. Confront the strangers among lands. By the way, you know how much stuff I've got to do in this first map? Oh, sorry, this is all just story journal stuff. But here, Lowland Shore, there's just so much to do. Janthir Century, I'm like nearly... Oh, no, it's still... They look quite similar. No, they don't. Lowland Shore, I have so many things to progress. And Janthir Century is like barely a page. I think it's mostly the adventure thing, though. Okay, nobody says, just this is a standard for this X-Pack. Cool, cool, cool. And we out. That might have been the standard in Secrets of the Obscure as well, wasn't it? You should go do the last lore instance now. They're absolutely massive. No, 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 no. We have gone on long enough here, guys. That's the end of the episode, I'm afraid, for this one. Join me next time for the final instance, Sorrow in These Halls. And we'll wrap it up. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Sorrow in These Halls. It will be at the Harvest Den. We will do the last story step right there. Yeah, it will be very cool. And maybe squeeze in the Lowland Wisps, which is like the other side quests. I mean, then there's like fun stuff which we can look at. It's all fun, but I mean building a quaggan kind of thing. So yeah, thank you everybody. If you've got any thoughts, obviously it's a weird place to freeze in terms of trying to not spoil the very end, I guess. But yeah, if you've got thoughts and stuff about Ura, it would be really cool to read what you all think, see what you have to say, and dig down in the comments, and then join me next time for part 11. Nearly knocked a fan over there.
What a reward.
And I will see you guys there. So thanks very much for watching. No, I'm not stalling. I literally, they're 3-hour-long episodes, and there's a long finale. I can't squeeze it in at the end. I see the colon P sarcasm or whatever. I don't know. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you enjoy, and I will see you on the next one next time. Take care. Yeah, getting the crew together, it sounds fun. So yeah, we'll probably look into that as well. You don't think the Wisp one's that entertaining? Is it just running around, or is it something more? If it's events, it's going to be tricky to do. Oh, no, but never mind. Listen, guys, we were talking about Zin a bunch as well. Check out the song Rata Novus from the Heart of Thorn soundtrack. There's all these cool messages. First of all, it's an epic, amazing song. Really, really cool song. And I was listening to that between the last two parts, and listening to that and thinking about Rata Novus being reactivated and the founder Zin being there, it is really exciting. So yeah, I was gonna set that up as an outro, but I guess we'll leave it there. Thank you, everybody. Take care. See you next time. The track isn't just nice; it's like epic. Just the scale of the thing just feels so brilliant. Take care now, guys.